Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood, where we sit around talking about movies. We're talking about all sorts of things this time around, including natural disasters and Oscar awards, and there's so much has happened in the last few weeks. So, yeah, strap yourselves in. It's about to get bumpy. I don't know. Bumpy is probably not a good adjective, but anyway, it's about to get fun. There you go. Anyway, for those of you who have no idea who we are, my name is Dan.
And I'm Frankie.
And yeah, so there we were last like well supposedly we were going to be recording last weekend and we are all ready to go and then yeah, we got to experience a freaking cyclone. Well, sort of, didn't we?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't know they came down this low in the country, but well,
Hmm.
it's been 50 years since one did, so it's
Mm-hmm.
not a common thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
unexpected when I saw the news that it was because I had seen it a few days beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's weird. It's down so low, but I guess
Mm.
it's like out to sea. So it's just doing a thing. And yeah, then suddenly I looked at the news and it's like, yeah, it's gonna turn towards us.
Yeah, that was interesting because I was around for the one that happened 50 years ago, and I was always told stories by my parents about how when the floods happened, they had to carry me down the road or something, and they threw me into a plastic garbage bag to take me along through the floodwaters. And I was, that's really thanks, Mum and Dad. Just throw me in the trash. Like, interesting. So technically it's my second cyclone, but of course I don't remember the first one. But yeah, it wasn't much fun. Like, how long were you without power for?
Well, pretty much since it started, because there was some extra thing I had going on where all the power points in my house stopped working. And
Mm,
that happened pretty much right at the beginning of the weather getting crazy.
hmm.
And so that was gone the whole time. And then I had, so when that was out, I still had lights and fans and hot water and electric stove.
Mm,
So it wasn't too bad. I had purchased power bank, so I was ready
hmm.
to go with charging things because my phone is old and the battery life is terrible. So I
Right, right.
I definitely needed to be able to charge it a lot. It barely lasts a day without being charged.
Hmm.
And yeah, so then I lost full power for a couple of hours the first day after
Mm,
the first night, because of course those things always happen at night. It was midnight when I got woken up from the crazy wind. And the power came back. My power points worked for half an hour or so.
oh,
I
wow.
turned the fridge on, I boiled the jug to make a cup of tea, and then I made a phone call. And then after that, I was like, oh, I'll just turn the microwave back on and set the clock. And then
Mm,
realized everything was gone again, but I still had the other stuff.
hmm.
And then the second night, because the cyclone downgraded, thank yay for islands off the coast, because
Yeah.
I live right near the beach, so I was a bit
Mm,
worried it was heading right towards me. But there's a islands out that slowed it down, and it ended
hmm.
up changing direction and going north of me. But yeah, so I thought it was all over after the first night, and then of course the second night, the 6 o'clock, the winds picked up again. They were
Mm,
worse than the first night.
yeah,
In this area, they were, yeah, the gusts were over 100 kilometers per hour. So it was, which I think it only got to 80 or something the night before. I don't know.
yeah. Right.
Somewhere near me had a steel sheeting on their roof.
Mm,
The edge of one peeled up. And
wow.
so the wind was banging that. So I had that all night as well as the sound
Uh,
of the wind.
yeah.
And yeah, so then on Sunday after that, the power went again and was gone for all of the rest of the day and all of Monday. It came back on during the night, and thankfully, my PowerPoints came back on because I was like, am
Right.
I going to have to go to work to be able to charge things?
Mm.
But the public transport's not working, so would I be able to get to work? Because that was coming gradually back. And then I was
Mm.
starting to think, do I have clothes? Because I can't use my iron,
Yeah,
can't use the
right.
washing machine. And at one stage, they said the power wasn't going to be back on for days, but then that night was when it came back on. So at least I didn't
Mm.
have to worry about
Yay.
washing clothes and things. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was a bit stressful having that extra power thing. If it had just been normal power because then I thought when it comes back, I'm going to have to try and organize an electrician. But
Mm.
yeah, it must have been a fault somewhere on the network, not at my house, that
Right,
I
right.
thought it was that kept flicking the safety
Mm.
switch. So yeah, it was not fun. And
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't like this weekend was good because this was all last weekend. So
Mm.
this weekend was like, yay, it's a weekend I can relax
Hmm.
and I have power and the weather is nice. But yeah, I don't know. I still don't feel like I'm quite back to
Oh, that's not
normal life.
good.
I mean, I did think every time I was doing stuff, I was like, is my power going to stay on? Like the first day,
Yeah.
I was so worried about if the PowerPoints were going to keep working.
Mm. Well, we had a really bizarre thing. We were sitting in the living room watching TV. That was on the Sunday, and during the actual, well, cyclone, if you want to call it that, even though it was what was it, a tropical low,
Oh yeah,
and
the cyclone was Friday night.
right, right.
And then it was a tropical low for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. So Sunday we're sitting watching TV and like just, counting our blessings that we had avoided power loss. And then all of a sudden the TV went off and the PlayStation and everything, and we were sort of like, oh, okay, but the lights and the fans and the air conditioning and everything was still on. And so we were sort of like, oh, so maybe it's just like, we went and checked the fuse box because we sort of thought maybe it's just that area if the house has gone off. But yeah, before long we sort of realized the microwave, the fridges were out, everything was out, and we realized that because this house has solar panels, it had, stored the power in there, but it was only, functioning for the lights and fans and air conditioning and, that sort of thing. I guess like, stuff that was kind of part of the house, if you will.
Well, yeah,
So
and it's probably the same thing. The PowerPoints have the Earth thing, and so it's
right, right.
probably to do with that, perhaps why
Yeah.
solar doesn't work for those things.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like it was, I mean, look, I can't complain. We had like 24 hours without power and, but we still had limited use of our lights and everything. So, that wasn't too bad. But yeah, but I remember the next day I was sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I really should invest in a power bank because I personally didn't have one. Kylie, my wife, has one, and I was kind of using hers a bit, but I didn't want to use it too much. And so on the Monday, I jumped onto the JB Hi-Fi website and I ordered one that was on sale. And with it actually, I counted, it was almost to the minute. It took 19 hours for it to get delivered to my place. Like, that was crazy. I thought because it said that it was going to take a few days, and I was like, okay, that's fine. I only need it for next time.
Well, they
And
probably didn't have much to do with there'd be less people out and about
yeah,
shopping,
maybe,
so they
but
processed it straight away and
yeah, it was like crazy quick. So at least I have one of those now for next time. So yay. But
yeah,
yeah,
I
look.
had such a hassle on like because it was the Sunday before that the news said it was happening. So that's when I
Mm,
started thinking about being prepared and, having a lot of pantry food in case I
mm,
lost power and everything. And then on Monday I went into work. So I was like, oh, I need to get a power bank and I need to get a torch because I realized that my torch died and I had never
mm,
got around to doing another one. So hard to find.
mm. Yeah,
I
yeah,
went into Big W and they like the only torches left were kids' torches.
yeah.
Everywhere was empty and the batteries were half gone. I had plenty of batteries though. I
Hmm.
went to buy a power bank there because they had the same ones I saw at JB, but I could get points there. So, but they had
Right,
sold
right.
out.
Mm,
And so I ended up ordering from JB and picking it up after work. And
mm.
then yeah, it was lucky because I needed to use it.
Yeah, well, I had there we go. It just got stuck on the desk. I had this. Oh, you can't see. There we go. I've got this. Ah, that looks crazy. Yeah, like a spotlight thingy that
Oh.
I once bought on eBay, which is really, really good.
That's massive.
Um,
Yeah, I bought a normal torch off Amazon,
ooh,
which arrived in time. So I did have a torch. I had candles, but I just had a torch for in between things,
yeah.
just
Um,
wandering around. And yeah, and at least when I didn't have the full power outage on the first day, at least, I had my stove still, so I could boil water on the stove to make
mm,
coffees and stuff. it was
Yeah.
hard when I had nothing and I
Yeah, yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
have any hot drinks, and the weather was terrible, so I couldn't go out anywhere and
Hmm.
try to find somewhere open. I don't know if anywhere would have been open, but
Yeah.
I do know that the central part near me was not included in the big power outage in the area. But I
Hmm.
don't know if stuff would have been open. But yeah, it was really craving a coffee. And then I went to my local shop when the power came back on to get milk and bread, and they didn't have any. So
Yeah, how crazy was
yeah, I had
that?
to
Like the
wait. The
supermarkets were empty.
Yeah, I went into work the next day, on the Wednesday after, and I went into Woolies in there on the way to work and picked up
Hmm.
milk and bread.
Yeah, right. Well, I think it was on the Monday. Yeah, it was on the Monday night. Kylie said that she was really in the mood for pizza. And I was like, okay, so I checked this local shop from my place, which is like literally a 1 or 2 minute drive. They have a pizza place, and that said it was open. I was like, cool. So went down there. Yeah, they were closing right when I walked in the door. So I was like, God damn it. So I had a look, and there's a place called Three Kings Pizza, which was a little bit of a drive, like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes away. So I thought, okay, I'll go there because it said it was open. So, oh man, I nearly died for pizza. As I'm driving there, the main road to get there like was really flooded in two sections, which I wasn't aware that that was going to happen. And fortunately, it wasn't too flooded. Like it was still, you could still drive through it, but like, going at like 5 k's per hour, like, it was really quite scary. Anyway, finally got there, got the pizza and everything. Coming home though, at one point, because the power was out everywhere, there was a whole section that I was driving along where there were no street lights. It was all dark, but I guess because of the temperatures and stuff, like my window was fogged up. And for a brief moment there, I had zero visibility. And man, like you thought that was scary that night that we drove from the, licorice pizza failed screening in the rain. Like at least we could see. This was the scariest thing that I've ever encountered in a car. Like, yeah, for I don't know how long it was, maybe 10 seconds or so, like I just was relying on my memory of the road. Like, yeah, and there was no one else
Wow,
around,
that's
so that was all right.
insane.
I know, but like I didn't have a choice, I was like, yeah, I just didn't expect all that, and I couldn't exactly pull the car over because there was nowhere to pull over. So, yeah, but anyway, but I must say the pizza was incredible. It was that real sort of gourmet type pizza. So it was Three Kings pizza is worth almost dying for. Yeah, but anyway, I think overall we did pretty good though. Like, I mean, we had a bit of
Yeah, we
inconvenience, but
were lucky. The islands off the coast did slow it down,
mm,
and decrease the intensity of it, so that was good.
mm.
They helped us
Yeah,
avoid
yeah.
it
I mean,
being.
yeah, God, it could have been so much
I mean, it
worse. I
wasn't a
mean,
really bad one to begin with. It was only category two, so
mm,
yeah, considering how it was with the wind and everything, I'm
mm,
glad that it did slow down
yeah, yeah. I was
and didn't cross land over it.
Yeah. I was looking at a thing and because yeah, now I kind of have a bit more of an understanding of categories of cyclones. And when you think about it, like Hurricane Katrina was a category 5. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, what we had wasn't even a cyclone, and that was pretty bad. Can you even imagine what it must be like to be in something like that? Like that would be absolutely nuts. But yeah, but anyway. But in other news, there was an awards ceremony that tried to be as cool as ours. Um,
Wow, and it feels everything pre-cyclone feel because too we prepped and then it
mm,
kept being delayed when it was going to make it to us. So it was a really long week of waiting for days before it
yeah,
happened. And so I'm having that weird time thing where everything before that weekend just feels like it was so long ago,
it
even though
does feel
it's
like
just
it
a
was
couple of
so long
weeks.
ago. By the way, I should point out the reason for those who are watching this on YouTube, the reason why my head looks really weird with this
Yeah,
weird
your
kind of
hair's got
aura,
to blow.
is because I made the mistake of wearing a green t-shirt today. And of course, Zoom has a thing where if you're using a green screen, it can do a nice clean, image cut and everything. Whereas, yeah, I tested it out, and of course, I disappeared, and I was just a floating head, which actually could have been quite fun. But so I turned around to use it as a blue screen, but yeah, it's doing weird things. So anyway, you know what? I don't even care. I was like, do I go and change my shirt? I was like, no, I'm not going to change my shirt. I can't be bothered. So, just deal with it. But no, the Oscars happened, and I was not really that interested in it this year because most years it's like, because we've had this discussion before. Like, in a nutshell, like we both feel the same way, don't we? How like the Best Picture nominees now aren't that fun anymore.
Well,
Like,
I've never really followed Oscars.
right, right. Well, because but like we had this discussion, like because like movies in the 90s and stuff, when you look at the Best Picture nominees, movies like Gladiator, Forrest Gump, Silence of the Lambs, yeah, like all these cool films, and then all of a sudden it sort of became a thing where your movie has to have like a message or some kind of social commentary and stuff like that. And so yeah, I generally tend to tune out, but then a couple of nights before the Oscars happened, I watched Anora. And that changed everything for me because I loved that film so much. And I was like, I want to see what happens, with this film. Like, hopefully it might win a trophy or two. And of course, yeah, it won lots, including the main one, Best Picture. And look, if anyone is going to say, "Oh, spoilers for the Oscars," come on, it was weeks
No
ago.
one's, yeah, no one's gonna
I
care.
know. Um,
Where's they're late? It's going to be another week
yeah,
before this comes out
I
too.
know. Yeah, no, oh my God, I was there for it. I was there for Anora. But I gotta say, the whole show, like, I really enjoyed it. I was sitting here working, and I just had my phone on a stand, and I was streaming it on there so I could watch it live, and I really enjoyed it. It reminded me of the older Oscars ceremonies, when it was just like a big fun sort of celebration and stuff. And yeah, like I thought Conan O'Brien did a really great job of hosting. His whole opening was great. And yeah, just overall, I just thought it was a really fun ceremony. But yeah, every time Honora was up for something, I was just like, yep, what can wait a minute? I was just glued to it. And,
I was surprised that it won so many. Like I was hoping it would
hmm.
win, but I didn't expect it to win all of those.
Yeah, yeah, no, that did so freaking well. What would it
Especially Best
won?
Actress, I was surprised. Like I was
Hmm.
hoping, but it's funny because when we had our awards and I said that, I was hoping she would win, but I expected that Demi Moore would get it, and I
Yeah,
continued to think that, so I was surprised and
yeah, yeah.
delighted.
Yeah, no, I was so happy because yeah, because I mean, obviously before I'd watched it, I was kind of like, well, yeah, Demi Moore's going to be hard to beat. But then, when I actually watched Anora and got to see just what a powerhouse Mikey Madison was in that film, like, yeah, I was then kind of like, oh, okay, I see why this is some serious competition. But yeah, it was just great to see because like. I mean, okay, sure, the film had a little bit of, social commentary or whatever, but it wasn't prominent, it was one of those, it just felt like a really fun
Yeah, no, it's
popcorn
not
genre
typical
film.
Oscar film.
No, not at all. And I loved that. And not only that, but the fact that it was made on such a small budget and it was made like an indie film and everything, it was kind of to me, it was a real underdog sort of a story. Not the movie Anora, but like, the actual film itself and the people who made it and everything. And so yeah, every time it won, especially when it was getting towards like the big ones, like actress, director, best picture and everything. Like I was actually like audibly cheering for it. I know I'm sure they couldn't actually hear me from this far away, but yeah, I was really, really happy with with how it went. So, and yeah, it like racked up the most amount of awards that night. So, that was very cool too. So, and what was it? Sean Baker was the first person to win four awards for like on his own, like, himself kind of thing, because
Yeah.
he like wrote it, edited it, directed it, did freaking everything. So, yeah, so no, that was
Yeah, I
that
think
was
it was
very
like
cool.
4 awards for one movie or something.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at. So yeah, obviously he couldn't take the trophy for best actress, but
Yeah.
yeah. But no, that was really good. Of course, I'll talk more about Honora later when we talk about the films that we've watched over the last 3 weeks. But yeah, what were some other highlights for you from the Oscars?
Well, I didn't watch it, so
No, but I mean, as far
well,
as
I
like the
mean,
winners and
I
things like
I
that.
I don't even remember who won it. Well, Adrian Brody got Best Actor. I
Hmm.
still haven't seen The Brutalist yet. So,
Yeah, same.
oh, Kieran Culkin got Best Supporting. So,
Mm,
I wasn't sure he was gonna get that because there's been a lot of chatter again about The Brutalist, which I haven't seen and I really want to,
hmm.
about how good Guy Pearce is in that. And so
Yeah,
I
right.
thought he might take it because
Hmm.
it seemed like The Brutalist was going to win.
Mm,
So yeah, I was happy that Kieran got it because
yeah.
yeah, he is really good in A Real Pain.
Yeah, yeah, which is another movie that I finally got to see, so I will talk about that later.
Oh.
I was a little it was a bias thing, but I was a little disappointed that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes didn't win Best Visual Effects and it went to June Part 2. But that was only because Planet of the Apes was just one of the best movies I saw last year, whereas June Part 2, I yeah, I've pretty much already forgotten most of it. So yeah, that was a little disappointing. But yeah, there was just yeah, like I said, overall it was just a big sort of a fun celebration. I did though, when it came to the in memoriam thing, I was kind of sitting there thinking, oh, okay, like this will be interesting, especially because, we just recently had the passing of Michelle Trachtenberg and Gene Hackman in the space of a day. And I thought, oh yeah, that'll be like cool to see them honored towards the end. And yeah, it gets to the end, and Gene Hackman comes up like a big tribute for him, and I'm sort of like, wow, did they really put Michelle after him? Like I thought he would have taken the last one. And then of course it ends, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, they didn't put Michelle on there. And then I was talking to Kylie about it, and like, yeah, we sort of started realizing it was like Shannon Doherty, Tony Todd didn't get a mention, and yeah, I kind of thought, wow, this is controversial, and
That
like
happens every year. There's always people they leave off every year.
yeah, look, I get that,
No, but
and
I mean people that
mm,
you think would be included
yeah, yeah,
on.
no, that's what I mean. I do get that. But yeah, it just seems weird to me that they do that when they've got, like people on there that
I
you
don't
would
know,
have
but do they
never heard
focus
of
more on
before.
people who have won awards and like won Academy Awards? Maybe it's they focus a bit more on those
That's
people than
actually a
others.
good point. I never thought of that because I Googled it straight away, like that afternoon, like as the Oscars was going on, and already news sites are coming out with like, blasphemy and all this sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like every year.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I
But
mean, yeah, I mean, of those, I would yeah, like Gene Hackman obviously stands out from the rest
mm,
of them as
yeah, yeah.
someone to be included, whereas the
Mm,
others a bit, if you're not sort of more genre focused and
mm,
less, academy
yeah.
focused, you probably wouldn't think about
Mm,
them so much compared to maybe other people. I don't know. I don't know who was included, so I
mm,
don't know if they do focus more on people who've won
mm.
awards
Yeah,
previously or
yeah, I don't
something.
know, but because a few people said things along the lines of, well, maybe it's because Shannon Doherty and Michelle Trachtenberg were more TV actors, and whereas but Tony Todd was like heavily involved in a lot of film
Mm.
franchises and stuff. I mean, he's the freaking Candyman.
But
Um,
again, Academy hates
hmm.
foreign.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, because there were just like so many people that, you would have never heard of, people was like,
But
Um,
they're obviously big industry people, and since
Yeah,
it
but it's
is
like, oh,
family.
this person once cut Steven Spielberg's toenails, or something, just, really like minor things like that that you kind of like, oh, wow, okay, you got a nod and Shannon Doherty didn't. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of makes me think it's a bit weird that they couldn't just maybe even extend it for another 20 seconds. Like, what's that gonna
Yeah, but
hurt?
for all those people, there's probably other people, and it's like, where do you draw the line of how long to make it and how
You
many
make a
people
one
to
hour
do?
in memoriam segment that covers every single person who died. And I'm not talking about industry people. I mean, everyone in the world who, no, you don't do that. Um, that's just going a little bit overboard. But yeah, but no, anyway, look, yeah, I thought this year was very good. Apparently, from what I've read, the ratings were actually up from the last few years as well. So I don't know. Could this be a resurgence in Oscars glory or something? Maybe. I don't know. I'd like to see that happen.
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you have any like fond memories from previous Oscars things, or
I
you just never followed it?
no, the only I mean, I might have seen bits and pieces when I was a kid, but the
Mm.
only Oscars thing I've actually watched was last year because I had COVID and I felt like
Hmm.
death and I needed something to distract me while I was laying there feeling so awful.
Mm.
And yeah, and Ryan Gosling sang his
Mm.
songs, so it
Yeah.
was entertaining enough, but I
Hmm.
wasn't really paying attention, and it was
Mm.
only part of it. It wasn't the entire thing.
Right,
That was
right.
when Oppenheimer won everything, so it was kind
Yeah.
of it's not as fun to watch things when you know that one movie is going to take everything. So
Mm. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
I
it
think
did help me get through the worst
mm.
I've ever felt being sick. So there is that.
I think my most favorite Oscars memory was back in the 90s. One of the cinemas that I worked at, they organized, and that was back when they like TV, network TV didn't live stream it. You had to wait that night for the, Oscars thing to come on TV. And yeah, they had organized an actual live stream in like a function room at a hotel or something, and the dress code was, actual like Oscars dress wear, like suits and ties and tuxedos and stuff. And yeah, like, we got to go to this thing. Like it was such a big deal. I can't remember the year, but it was the year that David Letterman hosted it. I remember that much. And yeah, like it just felt so cool to like finally for once be able to watch it live, like, for the first time ever. So yeah, that was definitely the most fun time I ever had watching the Oscars. But yeah, like, we used
I
to
don't
we
know
used
if I could be interested in the for the whole time. I don't
yeah.
I don't
I
know.
guess like in that environment, like,
Well,
work
yeah, I
working in
guess
a
it
cinema
depends
and
how
stuff, it
you're
was
watching it and if you're there with people and everything.
yeah,
So
yeah. No,
you
we were
just
all glammed
but
up and it was on a big screen and stuff,
yeah.
and they served lunch throughout and all this sort of stuff. But no, back when it was fun, like in the 90s and stuff, like, yeah, my friends and I, we used to sometimes, like pick someone's house to watch the Oscars, and we'd all get together and, have a big thing of it. So, yeah. So that's what I mean. Like this ceremony just kind of made me feel like those old times, So, yeah, so I dig it. I did. Yeah. All right. So, well, look, yeah, we're so unorganized today. I haven't got anything written down as far as a plan goes. We don't have Nobbins for trivia this time around. He didn't even think we were recording today. So yeah, this is a very casual sort of podcast. So,
Yeah, and
um,
also I will just say I did have one more news thing,
yes, we'll go
which
for
is also very old news, but I find it quite
it.
entertaining
What you
that
got?
David Arquette got added to the Scream 7 cast alongside
Yeah.
Matthew Lillard and Scott Foley, and it's like, what is going
Hmm.
on for this
What
next
is going on? I
movie?
know.
And everyone's like, is it going to be flashback kind of things? I don't know how that would work.
Because they
And
look
then,
older
or
now.
yeah, is it going to be like how Skeet Ulrich was in the Ulrich was
Ulrich.
in the other movie? Like, are they going
Hmm.
to do that kind of thing? I did
Hmm.
hear some people say that maybe the funniest thing would be if they had that Sydney just wakes up from a coma that she went into in the first movie, and like none of the rest of it happened.
Oh, please don't do that. Um, I mean, it would, oh man, I would laugh my ass off if they actually did. Like that would be such a prank, but yeah, I don't think they will.
But
But
yeah, and they said, is it going to be anything, or is it just going to be like the tiniest little
mm,
second of screen time for them? Or are
mm.
they actually going to have, actually some part of the plot, kind of?
Or did all those characters have twin brothers
Or
who are
it
coming back
could
for revenge?
be like Grey's Anatomy when they had Carl Chandler guest starred, and everyone loved him in that so much. But spoiler, his character died. And apparently the
I'm not up to that
writer,
episode yet.
like, how long ago was that? That was like season one or two. So they're up to
Yeah.
season 20 or something now. The writer said she actually regretted doing that because everyone loved him so much. And so in
Mm.
the later season, they found a way to bring him back
Right, right.
along with another character who had died.
Yeah.
And that was actually pretty fun.
Well, if you ever get around to watching Deadliest Prey, I mean, they did that with Lieutenant Thornton. Like his twin brother comes back for revenge in the second film.
I have
So
seen that talking about if I get round to it.
yeah. Um, wait, what?
I have watched that.
Oh, you did see that. Oh shit, sorry. I didn't remember that you saw it. Yeah, well, see,
Wow.
that's what I mean. Like twin brother coming back for revenge. So maybe Dewey and everyone else, like, they all have twins who are coming back for revenge. Now, there you
Well,
go.
because
There's a
see, the
plot
thing with
point.
Matthew Lillard is like how could his character have survived?
He
What happened
couldn't.
to him? Like it's not really the kind of like they've done previously where
Mm,
it just seemed like someone died and they didn't, so they could bring
mm.
him back. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that was like old school TV, so
Mm.
that wasn't
It's just
gonna.
a shame though, because like I really liked where the last one left off, with Melissa Barrera's character, like having that kind of potential dark side and like dropping the mask and all this sort of stuff. And I'm like, man, this really could go somewhere. And then it didn't. And so yeah, I don't know. I'm very keen to see exactly where this all goes though. Like, yeah,
I think that's
hopefully,
due to be out next year, I think
yeah.
I heard. But it's just a shame Patrick Dempsey is not coming back.
Of course.
Well, because, it's
hmm
not just me. Everyone assumed it was him that was that character because of the
Yeah, yeah.
name. So
Yeah. But yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I can't remember if I had any other news things. I think there was a trailer for something that I watched and it was cool, but I
I've
don't remember
seen a
what it
bunch of
was now.
trailers. So
So yeah, let's just move on. Um, did you what do you feel like doing? Do you want to do Reelin? Do you want to talk about what we've watched? What do you feel like?
let's just go with what we've watched. I don't have a
Yeah,
lot this time because I
right.
haven't watched a lot, and half of them aren't. I don't really need to talk about them. So,
Yeah, fair enough. All right. What do you got first?
oh well, maybe you should kick off because you
All right,
have
maybe
more.
I'll go first then. I have watched a couple of interesting documentaries. One of them was Marilyn Manson Unmasked, and the other one was The Fall of Diddy. Diddy? I don't know. Because yeah, the Manson one I was interested in because I'm a huge fan and I just wanted to see what it was all about. I didn't really know anything about it. The Diddy one, Kylie suggested, and I was open to that because I knew less than nothing about this guy. Like, it was really bizarre. Like, I knew maybe I could name one song of his, that was on the Godzilla '98 soundtrack. There were a few that I forgot that he had done, but yeah, I knew there was all this controversy about him. I didn't know why and stuff. So the Manson one was interesting. Um, it was split into three parts, and Yeah, the first part was the most interesting one because, oh my God, they had all these like really cool interviews and concert footage and stuff from back in like 93, like before their first album came out. And yeah, some of the interviews were like, you know, I mean, it's typical Manson stuff where, you just know he's saying shit for shock value, but of course, some of the things that he would say, of course, came back to bite him in the ass later on. But then, yeah, the next two episodes has really got stuck into the whole, sexual assault allegations and all of this sort of stuff. And they were interviewing Evan Rachel Wood and all these other people that supposedly, were victims of him and everything. But yeah, it was interesting in that I did a lot of research after watching it and stuff, and I firmly believe that Evan Rachel Wood has made up a lot of stuff and started this witch hunt, and I really think that Manson is innocent. I mean, sure he's been guilty of a few things here and there, but the overall kind of rape allegations and stuff, I don't believe it. And so we're watching these interviews with some of the women who were telling their stories and all of this sort of stuff. And ordinarily like my brain is like, okay, if a woman is saying this sort of stuff, like believe her, but there was just something about these interviews that didn't feel right, and it wasn't until we watched the Diddy thing where, holy fuck, I didn't realize that he was such a piece of shit. Like, do you know much about what he did and all that sort of stuff? Like,
I've seen news things. I don't know all the details.
oh my God. Like, okay, so this one featured an interview with a woman who was horribly assaulted by him. And I'm not going to go into details, but it actually shocked me. Like my jaw was agape. I just couldn't believe what I was hearing. And the way that this woman was presenting her story and breaking down in front of the camera and all this sort of stuff, I'm like, that is that seems to me how someone should react to a situation like that, And I know people deal with grief differently and trauma and stuff like that, but yeah, it just really felt to me like a lot of the Manson stuff, people were just kind of, making up shit. And they did have interviews with Manson's lawyer because Manson himself couldn't actually speak. And he was pointing out a lot of the ways that, these women were completely wrong and all that sort of stuff. But no, there's a lot of evidence out there, like basically making me think that yeah, Manson definitely didn't do it. But no, the Diddy thing, that was an eye opener. That was oh, that was incredible. I would highly recommend that one to anyone who just wants to really sort of go, right into that whole saga because yeah, it's very hard to watch at times, but I'm glad I did because yeah, I think it's one of those things, it's kind of important to know this sort of stuff. So yeah. So yeah, that was I guess something a little bit different that I watch instead of your regular movie kind of fare. But yeah, definitely worth watching both of them.
Well, I will lighten things up.
Yeah, good idea.
I watched a comedy called Couples Retreat,
Right.
which stood out to me because of the cast in it
Hmm.
and because it's, like resort style kind of film,
Hmm.
which is often a nice thing to think about.
Yeah, of course.
I did watch this in the middle of the night when the cyclone was coming. So
Mm.
it was that weird thing of I had my big headphones on, so I couldn't hear the sounds of the cyclone, which is why I was watching it. But then at the
Hmm.
same time, because it was early hours of the morning, I got really sleepy after an hour, so I had to
Mm.
turn it off and watch the rest later.
Right, right.
And it's a weird movie. I
Mm.
I don't know how much I like it, but it also has some people I like in it and some
Okay.
funny moments, especially this guy Carlos Ponce who played the have you seen this movie?
No, I haven't.
He plays a yoga instructor at this place. It's basically three couples go to, or one couple wants to go to this like kind of workshop thing at a
Hmm.
resort to see if they want to stay married or not. And so they
Right.
get their friends to come. Actually, it's four couples all up, I should say, but
Hmm.
one couple's not married.
Right.
It's just this guy who's divorced his wife and has like a 20-year-old girlfriend now.
Hmm.
And so they all go to this place because they need to have the numbers to make the booking pretty much.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, this yoga teacher, you have to watch it. It's very visual, but
Right.
basically, they have to go to this first thing in the morning yoga thing, and it's like this hot yoga instructor. So their husbands are all, not pleased about that. And then
Mm.
he's doing these poses and helping people do the poses and just, there's some very suggestive positions and things and
Right, right.
it's quite funny. And it's the
Okay.
kind of thing that you watch and you're like, I wonder how many takes they ruined doing that
Mm.
because to some things look like they would be hard to do without just
Hmm.
cracking up
Yeah,
laughing
yeah, right.
and keeping serious the whole time.
Mm.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's a bit annoying because it's kind of, every couple has their issues. And
Mm.
so there's stuff going on with that, but it's also kind of fun. It's,
Hmm.
it's a silly comedy,
Yeah,
but it
yeah.
has some cool people. It has that guy whose name, oh my God, Peter
Oh
Serafinowicz.
yeah, the guy
The
that was the voice
guy,
of Darth Maul and a lot of
yeah,
other things.
very
Yeah.
distinctive voice in lots
Hmm.
of shows.
Mm.
Um, he's like the hotel concierge kind of the word concierge.
Concierge.
Yeah, he's like that guy that is running things. So
Right, right.
very fun character.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
if ever I'm in the mood for a goofball
Yeah,
comedy, I
it's not
will
a
consider
not
it.
a high recommend, but it's
Mm.
pretty fun. And you got Vince Vaughn, Jason Bateman, Jon Favreau, Kristen Bell, Kristen Davis,
Mm.
um, Tamara Morrison is in it for like
Okay.
3 seconds.
Right.
He's like just the guy helping out the yoga instructor. So I was like,
Okay.
oh, there he is. And then he has one line maybe, and then
Oh,
he's just
wow.
kind of standing around. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he's in it. So
Hmm.
there we
Cool.
go. So yeah.
All right. Well, the next one that I've got on my list, and yes, I talked about it earlier, but yes, I finally got to watch Anora. And yeah, oh man, I really wish that I had watched it last year because it probably would have made it into my top 10 for the no, it definitely would have made it into my top 10 for the year. Um yeah, I didn't really know that much about it to be honest, even though, it was so
Yeah, well, I did the
talked about and
same.
everything.
I had it like very basic outline
Yeah,
of
yeah.
more like who the characters were rather than what the plot was going to be,
Right, right.
which is
Yeah,
always a
yeah,
fun
true.
way to go into a movie.
Yeah, look, I knew that it was about a stripper and some Russians, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, my God, I loved it. It was just such a fun, wild, crazy ride. I yeah, and like I said before, it didn't really sort of, have that much in the way of, you know, social commentary and everything. It was just a fun movie. I thought everyone's performance in it was absolutely fantastic. Um, well, yeah, particularly Mikey Madison, of course, but who were yeah, look, I'm not going to bother trying to say that name, but the guy who played Ivan, the guy who marries her and everything. Yeah, I just thought it was one of those things that sort of keeps you guessing, like, which way is this going to go at the end, like when they sort of, spend half the movie looking for this guy and everything, like, how is it? Were you kind of like the same thing? Like, which way is it going to go? Obviously, I can't really sort of
Yeah.
say too much for spoilers, but um, Yeah, and so that was really interesting. But yeah, the character of Igor, I just thought he was amazing. I felt really sorry for this guy. He didn't seem like he wanted to be there at all, you know. And yeah, yeah, no, that was also like a really great performance and everything from that dude. Yeah, look, overall, I was just super happy that I finally got to see that film, and I will definitely be watching it again and again. I'm gonna buy it when it comes out. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that one.
Hmm. Cool.
Hmm.
I this feels like a million years ago, but I one weekend morning just suddenly felt in a 90s mood.
Hmm.
And so I thought I would watch a movie I've been meaning to get to for a while called Sidekicks with
Yeah, right.
my 90s crush, Jonathan Brandis, along
Hmm.
with Chuck Norris.
Hmm.
And I don't think I ever saw this when I was a kid, um, but it was pretty fun. It was pretty weird because I knew that the movie followed this kid who thinks Chuck Norris is really cool and kind of has these dreams about being his sidekick and,
Hmm.
getting the bad guys, saving the girl, and all this
Hmm.
stuff. But I didn't realize till I started watching it, he's not just having these daydreams, he actually has some kind of like mental illness that he
Oh
just
wow.
will just go into those dreams at any time.
Hmm.
And it's pretty funny because, like, I don't know if it's the first one or at the start, he's in this scene and he saves the girl with Chuck Norris from all these guys. And then Chuck Norris thanks him for helping out. And he's like, yeah, anytime, Chuck, or whatever. And then you come to real life and he's sitting in the middle of class. And so all the classmates are just cracking up laughing at him because he said the words out loud in class.
Oh, okay, right.
So yeah, it's this crazy thing of he's just in class or whatever and
Hmm.
just goes into these dream
Hmm.
sequences. And that's kind of what the movie is, but then it sort of follows his relationship with his dad and his teacher who's trying to help him. And then he gets into learning karate.
Hmm.
And um, who's the
Hmm.
guy?
I don't
Um,
know.
he goes to this place to learn karate, and the guy is a maniac who runs it. So doesn't he doesn't go there, and the teacher has her father like knows stuff, so he starts
Hmm.
learning from him instead. And then
Right.
the last part of the movie is a competition where they are doing all these different events, not just karate, but they have this other, and there's a woman's thing that has a name that I can't remember what it's called, but I didn't
Hmm.
know that was a thing
Okay.
because most movies that have karate competitions just focus on the
Mm.
karate stuff
Yeah.
itself. So that was really cool. So they're in these teams, but uh Joe Piscopo
Oh, okay. That
is
name's familiar.
the guy. He's apparently an SNL guy.
Right, right.
But his character is so over the top. And
Mm.
of course, he's got a team in this competition at the end.
Hmm.
And so they're the rival teams, kind of like Karate Kid kind of thing, where there's like the bully kids in
Mm.
the thing
Of
with this
course.
guy. And then
Yeah.
Jonathan Brandis is with, friends in this team.
Hmm.
But his character, especially in the competition in the last third or so of the movie,
Mm.
is hilarious.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that makes it worth watching because at the beginning I was like, oh, this movie is like quite bad. But it does get better as it goes along. And then that last part being all the competition stuff is
Mm.
pretty fun. So yeah,
Okay.
overall it's pretty fun. Nice bit of 90s nostalgia.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, that is a movie that I have not seen it. I, have heard about it like forever, but yeah,
That's on
never.
Amazon Prime. So
Right, right. Okay. Yeah, definitely would like to check it out. My next one was it's a shark movie. Uh,
what
so
a surprise.
yeah, what a surprise. I'm not going to bother explaining the whole shark thing again. See previous episodes. So yeah, Kylie suggested we watch this movie called Bait, which is not the movie Bait that you have
Yeah.
spoken about, just to just to avoid any confusion. Um, No, this one was actually made here on the Gold Coast where I live. And it's essentially about a tsunami that hits the coast, and a bunch of characters get stuck in a supermarket, um, along with a huge great white shark. Well, actually, there's a couple of great white sharks. There was one also out in the parking lot as well, where some other characters are stuck. But yeah, I kind of thought like it it doesn't sound too bad a premise, you know what I mean? Like it's yeah, it could go either way. And it kind of went both ways. Like it wasn't bad, it wasn't good,
Have
but
you
I
seen
mean
the alligator one? I can't remember what it's called.
Crawl? Was it Crawl? I
Yeah,
think
I think it was
yeah.
that, wasn't
I
it?
I
Where
have
she's in
seen
the
that a
house with the alligator.
very
So it's kind of similar. Natural disaster brings
oh
predators into a place they
yeah.
shouldn't be.
No, I did see that movie,
That
and
was
I'm
pretty
pretty
cool.
sure I saw it in the cinemas when it came out. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Kind of, yeah. But this one, so yeah, amongst the characters, like there's a robbery taking place, just when all hell breaks loose. So you've got these Julian McMahon is the
Mm.
main villain in it.
When was this
He
made?
this was 2012.
Mm.
Well, one of the main reasons I was kind of interested is that Shani Vinson was the lead actress in it, and she was really good in a horror movie called You're Next. I just thought she was such an amazing heroine in that film. I thought she was kind of meh in this one, but yeah, but look, overall, I didn't mind it. Yeah, it was entertaining enough. I mean, obviously it's got really bad moments. Like the shark just looks absolutely terrible most of the time. And yeah, some of the characters are just kind of shit and stuff. But admittedly, there was some sort of violent moments that happened that I thought were quite over the top that I didn't expect. But and there was one character in particular who I can't remember the character's name really, but the guy who played him was just so over the top. But like to the point where like you've just got to laugh every time he's on screen because he didn't feel like an actual person. He just had this like really extreme way of talking and facial expressions and all this sort of stuff. But yeah, but yeah, look, it was all right. Yeah, it's on Netflix. And yeah, if it sounds like your kind of movie, definitely check it out. If you've got absolutely nothing else to do. So yeah, there you go.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Well, glowing endorsement.
Yes, if you've
Um,
got nothing better to do.
I have one more. There's a bit of a
Hmm.
story with this one.
Right.
Um, Arrow Video had a sale for Valentine's Day,
Hmm.
and they made a mistake.
Mm.
And I found out because I checked my email on a Saturday night, and it said, "Hey, you've got price reductions on things in your wish list."
Woohoo.
And one of them was for this
Ooh.
Inside the Mind of Coffin Joe,
Right.
which has one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 11 or 10 movies and a documentary.
Wow.
And it was £9, which converts to about $18. And I was like,
Yeah.
that is ridiculous. The retail price is, I think, £109. So I jumped straight online.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. I just went, wow. Because I
Mm.
had it in my watch list because I didn't want to pay. It's been on sale, but it's still expensive even on
Mm.
sale. So I got that. And also there were a couple of other things in my watch list. I got the Mexico trilogy with El Mariachi and
Hmm.
Desperado and
Once
Once
upon a
Upon a
time.
Time in
Yep.
Mexico. And so I grabbed that, which was also £9.
Nice.
I got the
Wow.
limited edition of Inglorious Bastards and Boyhood,
Hmm.
the Richard Linklater film,
Yep.
and a Robert Altman film that I wanted.
Hmm.
And then, of course, I was looking around, and of course, realized this must be a mistake because
Mm.
everything's £9 and even
Yeah.
like all these box sets. And so I was like, well, whatever, they'll cancel my order if it's a mistake and it's fine.
Mm.
And then so they corrected the mistake, but my order didn't get cancelled. And then the next day I got a thing saying my order had been shipped. And so I don't know if it was that they let so many go through and I got in time.
Mm.
I don't know if it's because I brought a selection of things and didn't just buy every single box set in my wish list that was on sale. I don't know
Mm.
if they were looking into it because obviously once people found out, everyone was just trying to buy up all the box sets.
Mm.
So I don't know, but I feel weird about getting such an insane bargain,
Yeah.
but they could have cancelled it and they let it go through. But what's crazy is that people were so pissed off
Mm.
that
Mm.
that Arrow made a mistake
Yeah.
and that orders got cancelled. And I just why? Like it's so
Because
obvious they
people are
made a mistake.
entitled.
Yeah. I'm like, if they'd cancelled my order, I would have just been like, yeah, fine. Okay, that's a mistake. But everyone's like,
Yeah.
if they had it at that price, they have to sell it at that price. And it's like, you want them to go out of business and not
Mm.
release any more things for us to
Yeah,
buy.
yeah.
So I don't like, I understand some people were upset with valid reason because apparently there was an issue with refunds going through and the shipping didn't get refunded. So
Oh,
there was an extra delay for people to get the shipping cost back.
right.
So I understand being upset about that specific thing,
Mm.
but most people were just upset that they didn't get their $9
Mm.
box sets. So
Yeah, that's a bit
I don't know.
ridiculous.
So when they fixed the error, this was should have been on sale for £60. So So it worked out. But yeah, so I watched, this is great. It's all like
Wow.
all these separate things in here.
Ooh.
So I watched the first movie because this is all, yeah, the Coffin Joe character, which I won't try and say his proper name
Okay.
because I don't know how to pronounce it properly.
Fair enough.
But it's he goes by Coffin Joe. And
Hmm.
so it's a character created by this guy who also directs the movies.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think you might like it. So it's called At Midnight, I'll Take Your Soul. And it's this guy, he's a undertaker in this small town. He's
Hmm.
very anti-religious and thinks that everyone in the town is stupid for all the religious practices and because it's coming up to the Day of the Dead and
Hmm.
so people don't want to go outside. But basically he's obsessed with having a son and his wife can't get pregnant or something and
Ah.
won't give a son. So then he thinks, oh, if I kill her, then I can get together with this other girl I like and, problem
Mm.
solved. And
Just like that. Easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's basically, yeah, killing people and everyone in the town hates him, but then he's like hurting people and doing all this stuff.
Mm.
So it's pretty funny. And then um
Yeah, murder's always a great time, isn't it?
well, no, it's funny. Oh, sorry, Cooper.
Oopsies.
Sitting under the desk. But he basically gets to a point, and there's also this crazy like gypsy woman who is very theatrical in saying all this, like she's at the beginning of the movie saying,
Mhm.
leave the theater, don't watch this movie, and all this stuff. So
Mm.
she's pretty fun to come and like warn people and say all this
Mm.
stuff. But it's very theatrical. And so basically he ends up having I won't give the details,
Mhm.
but he ends up with this, someone says they're going to put a curse on him. And then this stuff starts happening. And it just, the last third especially gets really fun because it becomes very theatrical. Like he's talking out loud to himself
Mm.
and just reacting to all these things that are happening to him. And it's pretty fun. So, I mean, this was
Okay.
made in the 60s. So,
Hmm.
it's got that nice sort of old movie nostalgic
Mm.
to it. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
right.
just very, very different and very
Mm.
interesting. So
Mm.
I haven't had a chance to continue on with the movies yet, but this goes for decades, I think. I've
Mm.
seen photos from later films when the guy's obviously older. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think it's apparently Brazil's most well-known horror guy. So
Oh, okay.
um, yeah, I hadn't actually heard of the movies until Arrow released this box set. So
Right, right.
yes, I'm very interested to keep going
Hmm.
through them and see how they go and how they change over the years and all that stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's
Well,
very fun.
well, especially at that price. That reminds
Yeah.
me of that. See, now you kind of had know how I felt that time that I ordered two Harley Quinn Hot Toys figures that were worth like $500 each, and I went to cancel my order and they sent them to me anyway. I was like, ah, yeah, like okay, no, it's probably not exactly like that, but
No.
um but anyway, moving on. The next one that I watched was a real pain because you talked about it and Nobbins talked about it and everyone's talked about it. And then, oh yeah, I was also kind of, I was keen to, catch up on some of the Oscar movies. So I did check it out and yeah, what an absolutely amazing film. It was, yeah, just a, Hmm. It was like a comedy drama, like, I mean, there were times where I was genuinely laughing out loud, especially that scene where hang on, character names, David and Benji, of course. Well, yeah, Benji wants David to take a photo of him, against that statue on the stairs and stuff, and then everyone starts getting involved one by one, and everyone like, oh my God, that was just such a great scene. It was one of those scenes that is going to stay with me for a very long time. But yeah, just overall, it was, I don't know, it was just a nice movie, yeah, with a lot of really great moments.
Yeah, I
And
liked the tones. Like it's,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it has a sort of drama storyline of the
Mm,
two guys going to Poland to see where their grandmother grew
mm,
up and everything. So you've got that sort of wartime Holocaust backdrop thing.
mm,
But then it's really funny. But then also later on, there's some big dramatic moments as well. So it's like
mm,
going between laughing and sad things and whatever, but it all works together really well. So it doesn't feel like you never feel out of place suddenly going
mm.
between the different tones.
Yeah, exactly. And I just thought the character of Benji, like it was very much a character film, or character driven, I should say. But yeah, the character of Benji, I just thought was brilliant. I love that, on the surface, he kind of seemed like a pain in the ass and like he's this person that just like really, speaks before he thinks and stuff like that. But then, he's got so much more going on behind him. Like,
You're getting the wrong character.
oh, no,
Are
I'm
you?
not. No,
No.
Benji, played by Kieran Culkin.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was getting the wrong character. Never mind. I thought you were talking about the other guy until you
No,
continued on, and then I was like, oh, wait, what?
no, no, no. So yeah, no, he was a really interesting character, and I love the way the two characters, you know, sort of contradicted and yet complemented each other in a lot of ways. Like, so yeah, it was a brilliant script. It was, yeah, I've got to say though, holy shit, I did not recognize Jennifer Grey at first. Like, I mean, I do get that, she's considerably older than she was in Dirty Dancing and Ferris Bueller's Day Off and everything, but yeah, wow, she looks so different, doesn't she?
Oh, well, I didn't recognize her, but she's not really a known person to me.
Oh,
And
okay. Well, you've
I
seen
mean,
Dirty Dancing, right?
I remember nothing from it. I got forced
Okay.
to watch it when I was a teenager because I
Right,
hadn't
right.
seen it and I didn't, yeah, I wasn't that
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. Look, I haven't seen her in much. Actually, I'm just looking. She was in that movie In Your Eyes that I love so much. And I don't remember who she was in that, but anyway, there you go. Yeah, but no, look, yeah, overall, yeah, was very happy that I watched it. I do have to say though that oh my freaking God. So I was watching it on Disney Plus, and pretty much throughout the entire length of the film, it would go for a little while, and then the quality would just like degrade to worse than DVD quality for 30 seconds or so, and then, snap back to HD. It kept doing that so much, and then it got to a point where it just stopped working altogether, and I'm just sitting there watching this little
When did you
buffering wheel.
watch that?
I watched that. Hang on, I can tell you
Because
now.
I know if it
On the
was soon after the
8th of
cyclone.
March. So, okay, so yeah, it was during the cyclone.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say the first time I had my TV and power back and everything, I went
Hmm.
to watch the next episode of The Pit I was up to, and
Hmm.
yeah, the internet still wasn't
Hmm.
back good enough to be able to stream things, so I ended up
Oh,
switching
okay.
to watch something. So I think that's an internet issue,
All right, I
not a
won't blame
Disney
Disney
issue.
then. But yeah, oh man, the whole time though, I'm just sitting there like, man, I just wish I could have had it on disc and just,
Wow, I can't
put it
believe
in.
you
And
kept going. I would have given up and come back to it later when the
that's
internet
how
was
much I enjoyed the film. I couldn't stop watching. Like,
back.
yeah, but anyway. And then the last one that I've got to close things off, was a movie that I never had any intention of watching really, but Kylie was insisting that we give it a shot, and I was like, okay. And that is Monsters Ball from 2001. Have you seen that one with
Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton, Heath Ledger, Halle Berry, Sean Combs, aka Diddy? Um, yeah, but you know me, I'm like, I'll watch anything. So she was like, let's watch Monsters Ball. I'm like, okay. I mean, Halle Berry, first African American woman to win a Best Actress Oscar for that film. And so I thought, let's find out what all the fuss is about. Oh, you need to see this movie. It is so good. Um, it's not a happy movie. Don't ever watch it if you're after a good time. So essentially, Billy Bob Thornton plays this prison guard who begins a romance with Halle Berry's character, whose husband, played by Diddy, was fried in the electric chair, which was a really cool scene. And the thing is, though, Billy Bob's character, whose name is Hank, you sort of get the impression that he's an extreme racist, because he lives with his elderly father, who is like, oh my God, he is all the way racist. And so yeah, that's kind of the whole. And then Heath Ledger plays his son, who so it's got this whole sort of thing about racism passing through generations and stuff. But yeah, when you kind of think to yourself, well, hang on, why is he getting into a relationship with a colored woman? Then yeah, it's all sort of revealed why and stuff, and yeah, but no, it was really interesting. But yeah, my God, the performances in this thing were so freaking incredible, and I can totally see why Halle Berry won the Oscar for this film. She was just brilliant in it. Um, but yeah, there was a couple of moments that were genuinely shocking as well, particularly one involving Heath Ledger's character, that just freaking came from out of nowhere, and wow, yeah, Kylie even sort of like, like looked at my face just, when this thing happens, and I was like, okay, yep, wow, that's a thing that happened. So yeah, but no, highly, highly, highly recommend this film. Actually, I want to buy it on Blu-ray to add it to my collection. It's that good. Yeah, it is a movie that I would love to watch again one day when I'm in the right frame of mind, because yeah, like I said, it's not pleasant viewing, but yeah, definitely worth watching, that's for sure. So yeah. There you go. I actually had more stuff to talk about than you did this time.
Yeah, I don't know. I
What is
watched a
even
few
going on?
more, but I
Yeah,
just had like a Hallmark movie and a movie I didn't enjoy. So,
yeah.
and I was right. I watched The Wolf of Wall Street and I didn't enjoy it. And
Ah, that's
you
right.
said about a particular scene would explain things, and I said, I'm pretty sure it won't. And you're like, yes, it will. And I knew what the scene was. And I'm like, yeah, that's no
Yeah.
reason.
Well, not for you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, that movie felt like a million years to get through, and I thought it's one of those I thought might have more to it, like
Hmm.
because everyone raves about it so much, but
Hmm.
it just
I
wasn't good.
didn't mind it. I mean, I've I've watched it once. I bought it on Blu-ray. That's probably no surprise whatsoever. But yeah, I
Yeah.
still
There
remember a lot
was
of bits of
one
it.
point where the story took a direction that could have been getting near the end, and then I
Mm.
looked and I still had 50 minutes left.
Yeah, I mean, it is a
And I'm
long
like,
film.
it's long and it
Yeah.
felt longer. So,
Mm.
yeah. But
Yeah.
anyway, I guess I've watched it now. It's one of those, everyone
Yeah.
raves about this, so I should watch it movies. And
Mm.
yeah.
If anything, you got to hand it like Margot's performance in it was really exceptional, though, right? Right. Anyway,
Well,
moving on.
yeah.
Oh, I thought, oh man, but between the accent and the overall performance and everything, I thought she was brilliant in that film. But and I'm not talking about that one particular scene. I was like moving away from that. Yeah, but
Yeah, I already knew about that scene before I watched it. So,
yeah, that scene. Anyway, cool. How about we do some reeling?
all right.
All right, talk to us.
So
What's
this
this all about?
is the time where we just pick a year. We're going back 1 year each episode where we highlight films that don't get talked about, not
Hmm.
as appreciated as they should be, so that if you haven't seen them, you can check them out because maybe you don't know about them.
Exactly.
So we are up to 2010,
Oh,
which
good, because
um,
that's what I did, and I was the whole time I was like, it is 2010, isn't it?
yeah,
So,
that's why you write it down in your notebook. So when you go to do it, you can look
oh,
back and see that's what I do every time.
oh, yeah. No, look, to be honest, I did actually check, so yeah, I'm not that
Um,
bad.
this is a quiet year for me. I only have three.
I have eight.
Oh my God, that's too many for a little segment,
I know.
especially the way you talk about movies.
Oh, okay. Look, that one can go. Um, I don't need that one there. Oh, no. Oh, that one can go. Oh, okay, that one can go. Hang on. Oh, that's definitely not going. One, two, three, four. Okay, how's five sound?
Okay, as long as you don't talk a lot about each one.
I will not. I will. All right, challenge accepted. I'm going to talk as little as possible about these films.
Okay.
25 words or less. No, because who's going to count? Well, I'll start because, me, wait, etc. So the first one I've got on my list is Frozen. And no, I'm not talking about the one with
Yeah,
Elsa and
ski
Anna
lift.
and stuff. Yes, this is a survival horror film about three people that are trapped on a freaking ski lift, and there are wolves, very hungry wolves, like patrolling the grounds beneath them. So yeah, like you've got the double thing of like, how do you get down from this ski lift, and what do you do about the freaking wolves? And God, that movie had so much tension. It had a brilliant premise. I loved it. 25 words or less. Maybe, I don't know.
Cool. My first one is Beyond the Black Rainbow, which is more experience than movie.
Hmm.
I came across this by chance because Madman were having a sale who release things in Australia,
They
and
do.
they had the DVD for $5 or something. So
Hmm.
I just grabbed it because this was years back when, because he waited like, what was it, 10, 15 or more years between that and Mandy. So
Who did,
um,
sorry?
the guy who directed it,
Ah, right.
um, yeah, I can't remember his name off the top of
Yeah,
my
that
head.
guy.
Anyway, the guy who directed Mandy.
Yes,
Everyone
yes.
knows.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that, yeah,
Oh,
of
I
course. Come
can
on.
look it up. Anyway, so this movie is yeah, it's a vibe. It's got this sort of electronic music score.
Hmm.
It's a girl in a some kind of facility. It's pretty much
Hmm.
her and the guy running things, I think, over most of the screen time. And yeah, it's been ages since I've seen it, but I it's definitely one that's more about visuals and music
Hmm.
than plot. But
Yeah.
yeah, I remember being blown away because it's such a unique experience.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, definitely it's similar to Mandy. Like, he's got a style, but it's
Hmm.
also very different from Mandy.
Mm.
But yeah, definitely I would recommend checking it out.
Yes, well, you recommended it so much that when we first met each other and gave each other a big pile of movies to get to know each other, that was on your pile of movies. And
Because I
I
had never heard anyone talk about it. I just bought it
yeah,
randomly because it was so cheap on sale. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
have barely heard anyone talk about it. I even purchased the soundtrack. I've
yeah,
got the
right.
record in my collection because, yeah, it's
Hmm.
pretty cool music.
And the funny thing is with this film is that every time I try to remember what the name of the movie was, because I remember watching it, I remember the experience of watching it and everything, and every time I try to remember what it was called, I come up blank. So I have now written it down because yeah, I really want to see it again. That movie
Yeah, so
really blew my mind.
if you're into weird stuff,
Yeah. But it was a good kind of weird. It wasn't,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
yeah, weird is not a bad word. It's just a very different
Let's
film. Like your average, if you're into sort of, you know, big tentpole films or whatever, if you go
yeah.
into a movie like that, it's gonna just completely.
You say weird is not a bad word. Let's wait till we start talking about Bloodsucking Freaks, because
Well, I mean, it
I saw
has,
what you gave it on Letterboxd, and I can't wait to talk about it. But
yeah,
anyway,
weird has
um,
two different meanings.
yeah.
But generally, I use weird for good things and I use
Mhm.
strange for bad things.
Okay. We'll yeah.
But
Oh
it
God.
depends, context.
Yeah, exactly. My next one that I've got is a film that when it came out of the movies, I don't know how I got a double pass to go see this film. I don't know how, because it was way before I was doing my YouTube channel and stuff. But went and saw it, and I enjoyed it so freaking much. I ended up buying it on Blu-ray. And the weird thing is, I haven't actually ever revisited this film. But it's one of those things that I just remember loving it so much. And I actually still remember a lot of scenes that happened in it, 15 years ago. Anyway, it's a movie called The Ghostwriter, which was directed by Roman Polanski. It's got Ewan McGregor and Pierce Brosnan in it, amongst a whole bunch of other people. And it was kind of a political, sort of a thriller. Just from memory, I think Pierce Brosnan played the Prime Minister of England, and yeah, Ewan McGregor's character was this writer, like maybe it had something to do with his memoirs or something like that. But yeah, McGregor's character gets sort of involved in this big sort of conspiracy plot and stuff like that, and yeah, it was really freaking enjoyable, and I don't know why I haven't revisited it since then, but I will get around to it one day. But yes, I even though I haven't seen it in so long, I definitely wanted to recommend it to people because I do remember how great it was. So yeah, there you go.
My next one is a documentary called Cave of Forgotten Dreams, directed by Werner Herzog.
Hmm.
And yeah, it's basically him. There's a cave that they found with all these old cave paintings, which is possibly the oldest things found. And he got permission to go in and film stuff. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's just talking to people and looking at the stuff. So it's very
Hmm.
interesting.
Right, right. Oh wow, that was
Well,
definitely 25 words or less.
what is there to say? That's
Yeah,
enough.
no, fair
If you're
enough.
gonna be interested, that's enough.
Here's me getting all ready for my next one, and you're already done, and I'm just like, holy shit, what? Yeah, wow.
That's what
Okay,
this segment is. It's not, you know,
yeah, 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 I know.
not like the ones we've watched.
So my next one is a film that I just kind of randomly stumbled upon it one night when I was looking for something to fall asleep to, and I've seen it a few times now. It's not a great film, but it's just one of those movies that is just a comfort movie for me. It's called She's Out of My League. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, so you've got Jay Baruchel is the main actor in it, and he is just sort of a very average guy who he works as a TSA agent, and he begins a relationship with this woman played by Alice Eve, who his friends are all sort of saying like she's too good for you and all this sort of stuff, and so yeah, it's sort of a rom-com kind of a film, but. There were some really good actors in TJ Miller, who I just think is always hilarious. He was in it. Kristen Ritter, I think she's always great as well. So yeah, but yeah, it's just, yeah, one of those films that I just always find entertaining, just turn the brain off, away you go. So yeah, there you go.
My last one is super fun. It's called Dancing Ninja,
Mm,
which I came across because thanks to Liam Underwood,
mm,
hi Liam, if you are listening, I watched the High School Musical movies and I really liked the character Ryan, played by Lucas Grabeel.
mm,
And I was looking through his filmography and found Dancing Ninja, which is an orphan boy who dreams of being a ninja, arrives in Hollywood and attempts to find his birth parents.
mm,
This is the weirdest movie. It's stupid comedy,
mm,
has some singing and dancing and things, and has David Hasselhoff, who
mm,
is great in this. He's really funny, and he has a couple of songs which are highlights of the movie.
mm.
So yeah, this was actually on SBS On Demand for those here in Australia, and
Ah.
yeah, I recommend. Is very much a good time.
Well, that was another one that you lent me in the pile of movies.
Oh, did I?
You
I know I
did.
told you about it. I didn't
No, you
know
lent
where
it
I
to me
put
and
it
I
in that
watched it.
file.
And
Yeah, I know you
yeah.
watched it, but I thought it was just because I told you it was so insane.
Oh, okay. No,
And the David Hasselhoff-ness of it.
well, I'm pretty sure you lent it to me. But yeah, no, that definitely was a good time.
Mm.
I just realized I had one too many films, so I've just chopped off another one off my list because I miscounted. So the last one I'm going to talk about is the best film that came out in 2010. Okay, seriously, the best.
Oh,
Um,
it's an underrated one.
oh, it's so underrated. I don't know anyone who's seen this film. Oh, except Nobbins, who apparently gave it 4 stars. Well, there you go. It is The Disappearance of Alice Creed. I love minimalist types of films. This movie has 3 people in it, and it is set in one room mostly. And it's basically so the letterbox premise: a rich man's daughter is held captive in an abandoned apartment by 2 former convicts who abducted her and hold her ransom in exchange for her father's money. Um, but it's one of these films that, through the dialogue and everything, um, the way that Alice kind of starts to manipulate the 2 felons against each other and all this sort of stuff. But one of the things I love about it so much is that the title has a dual meaning. And obviously, I can't say why, because when you see the end of the film, you're just like, oh my God, that is so clever. So yeah, oh my God, I love this film so much. It was another one that I randomly saw at the cinema, and yeah, I don't know really why, but I'm very glad I did, because yeah, I absolutely love that film. So there you go, 25 words or less. Um, cool. All right. Well, um, that's it for that bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're just going on to getting onto the homework films now and stuff, aren't we? Like, yeah. Okay, cool. I do apologize everyone for like how vague everything sounds right now, but yeah, we just, like I said, we didn't really have too much
It doesn't matter. We know the
structured.
general format we follow. I don't think anyone's going to care that we do something
Screw
slightly
the
in a different
rules.
order.
Yeah, exactly. We do what we want. All right. Well, we're going to get stuck into our homework films now, and we are going to have our very first ever Dan and Frankie double feature. We are going to become part of the undead, and no, we're not. Anyway, I don't know. I was trying to sound really sort of, cool and spooky and dramatic, but that's just not working. So let's go talk about Evil Dead 1 and 2. Okie dokie. So, yes, when you suggested that we should do a double feature, and when you suggested that it should be Evil Dead 1 and 2, I could not say yes fast enough, because these are two of the, I mean, they're just two of the greatest horror movies of all time. And that's not just a matter of opinion, that is just scientific fact, because the amount of movies, these ones like inspired, the amount of filmmakers that these ones inspired and everything, the career that Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell and everyone got from it, like, is just astronomical. So for those who don't know, the first Evil Dead was well, it came out in 81. I think it was actually made in like 79 or so. Um, and yeah, it's just essentially is about a group of young people who go out to a cabin in the woods. They find a long lost like reel-to-reel tape recorder where they and this book that's bound in human flesh and inked in human blood, the Necronomicon. And yeah, essentially they play the tape and it has a professor who's recording this whole thing about his experience, and he recites this passage that unleashes all hell onto this house. And so one by one people will become possessed. They become deadites, as they're commonly known. And it comes down to our good friend Ash, played by Bruce Campbell, to save the day. And then the second one was this bizarre sort of remake in a way. I actually looked into it because, yeah, like the movie starts
Yeah,
off.
it's interesting. It does like a recap of the first film, except it changes what
Mm,
happened.
yeah,
It was
because
very confusing at first
it is
because I
confusing.
hadn't seen for years, so I'd
Yeah,
forgotten
yeah,
what it
right.
was. And I'm watching it, and then all of a sudden stuff's happening, and I'm like,
Mm,
whoa, wait, this is fast. What? And then
yeah.
I realized it was just doing a recap.
Because when you get to the end of the first one, what happens there, which we'll talk about later, then all of a sudden in the second one, like Ash is driving to the cabin, but just with his girlfriend this time,
Yeah, I lost all
Linda.
the friends.
Yeah, and no one else is there and stuff, and it's like, well, hang on, and then the same things kind of happen, and
Yeah, it's
it's
weird. It's
like,
like the same
huh?
cabin, but things are different. Like the tape is
Yeah.
just set up on the desk
So
now.
what
It's not found in the basement.
So what actually happened was they wanted to do a recap of the first one, but to save money, they just only did a very quick recap, just with just the couple and stuff. And so essentially where that thing happens, like at the end of the first film, where that happens in the second film, like that's where you kind of start the film officially. So, yeah, but yeah, then the second one just goes into like full comedy territory, like
Yeah, the
very
second one,
Three Stooges.
Ash is a different character in this.
He
Like
is.
he has a different personality in the second one
Oh, very
than the
much so.
first. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's weird because it's like a continuation. He's still got the blue shirt and everything, but
Mm,
he even looks different. I guess
mm.
it's just the aging of 6 years or whatever it was between them.
Oh, most
Just kind
likely,
of
yeah.
worked for Bruce Campbell and just like
Yeah.
made him hotter. So that helped as
Mm.
well with the, you know, new personality.
Yeah, yeah. But so yeah, the first one being a much darker film of the two, like a lot of people and even people that I know, like, claim it's one of the scariest films ever made. I've never found it scary. I just think it's
No,
cool.
I don't really find films scary. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Um,
like people, find The Ring scary and can't sleep with the TV in their room and all that
hmm,
stuff. And I'm like, I don't get those feelings from
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
So
That's fair
so
enough.
yeah, but I mean, I mean, it's scary in a fun way,
Mm, yeah, yeah.
not a actual, not I feel scared way, but just
Mm,
in a there's some creepy stuff going on.
yeah, yeah.
I don't
But
even know where to start with talking
yeah.
about it because there's so many things.
I, okay, so I'll come into it from a filmmaker's perspective because the way that this thing was put together is just it's
Yeah,
I
I have specific, before you go on, I have
hmm,
specific questions what you think about certain things
yeah,
because
yeah, great.
there's certain things I really liked that when I was reading reviews, I found
Hmm.
a lot of people didn't like
Hmm.
and thought it was a negative thing overall, whereas
Oh,
I
okay.
actually thought it was a positive thing that made me like the film more.
Right, right.
So,
So, this thing was made on such a low budget, and things like when you've got the camera, from the perspective of the evil force or whatever, zooming through the forest and everything. They stuck the camera on a plank of wood and had, two people like just basically carrying the camera through, which kind of blows my mind because like the very first shot is in the water, like over a kind of a creek or something. And so I thought that was interesting. But there's like Sam Raimi just he's one of my most favorite directors of all time because he's one of these people that if someone sat you down and put on one of his movies without the opening credits, like you could still tell it's a Sam Raimi film, because he's just got such a signature style. And this was the film that really kind of, brought that home. Like a lot of sort of, weird Dutch angles and things and weird camera movements and just, cool things like when you've got like moments where there's sort of smoke in the woods and oh, was it the first or the second one where there's a shot where actually I think it might be the second one where all the smoke like is going in reverse and going back into where it's coming from and stuff and it's just sort of like man, that looks so cool,
When I put this on, like it's been a while, not that long since I've seen it, but
Mm,
I don't remember a lot of specifics. So even watching the first 10 minutes of it, apart from that camera moving through the forest when it's the evil presence, the
mm,
music that is playing with that,
mm,
that's so cool. Like
mm.
it's really sets the tone for a
Oh,
scary
does it
thing in the
ever?
woods. So I
Yeah, yeah.
guess that counts as making it scary.
Yeah,
It's more
yeah.
scary than
But there were
but
things
the
like,
I
oh,
haven't
sorry.
finished.
Sorry. I'm excited.
And then all the different, like just within the first 10 minutes, which is just them arriving and kind of setting up, and that there's all these different, yeah, like all the different camera angles that you
Mm,
don't realize till you watch something like this, how little it's done in other movies, because
mm,
there were so many shots that I'm just like, oh, that's a nice shot. That's a
mm,
nice shot. And then really interesting ones, like when they open the trapdoor to go into the basement and they're
mm,
going down, and then the camera's looking back up at the
mm.
people hanging over, looking down
Yeah, yeah.
and all these different things. And one I noted was when Ash goes down, because one of the guys, the other guy, goes down
Mm,
and disappears. So then
mm,
Ash goes down to look for him. And there's just one stage where he opens the door to a room and the camera just sort of flows through. And
mm,
I mean, it sounds whatever when I say it, but when you're
mm,
watching it, it's just like a really interesting movement. And I just thought there was some
mm.
really great camera stuff, even in that first section of the movie.
Yeah.
I read a lot of people saying how bad it is and how terrible it is, and you can tell that he's not like found himself in filmmaking at this stage and all of that. And I'm
Oh,
like, I think all
wow.
this stuff's really
It
interesting.
was so
People
innovative
are
and
writing it off as a terrible first film.
oh God, no. And
Well, not
even
terrible, but like he's doing things wrong.
mm. Even when you look at things like, so many times in horror movies, when people go to, they hear a noise in a room or something, they like get the door handle and quickly throw the door open. Have you noticed in these two films, both of them, every time someone does that, they'll like turn the handle, but then just slowly open the door? Like, and, I just kind of thought that was interesting. Like, it's, they did something kind of different there. I love this movie introduced like all three of Raimi's Evil Dead films have that kind of 360 shot where, the camera starts on someone's face and then, goes around the room and comes all the way back around to that person's face.
Mhm.
That's done in all three of the films and I just love it. Like sure, it's definitely style over substance, but when the style is that good, who
Yeah,
cares, you
there's a
know?
scene where one of the characters is trying to leave and she
Hmm
gets to where there's a bridge that's the only way out.
Mm,
And she gets to the bridge and it's not crossable. And
mm,
then there's just a shot of her standing there looking at it. And there's all this mist and trees and that around
mm,
behind her. And there's the light coming from the headlights of the car.
mm.
And it just like it's just such a perfect shot. And
Oh,
I love it
absolutely,
when you're
yeah.
watching a movie and you're just like, I could just pause this and have it as a picture
Mm.
of the wall. It just looks so pretty.
Yeah. And I love things like in a lot of time they actually filmed during the day. And so what they did is they actually stuck sheets of black material on the outside of the cabin over the windows to make it look like nighttime, like just there was so much
Yeah,
creativity that went into that.
I didn't do any research on this because I've got you here, but I was reading an article at one stage where they were saying what a terrible shoot it was because the weather was crap and it
Hmm.
was freezing and
Yeah.
they're doing these long days shooting and just
Hmm.
everyone felt terrible because yeah, just it was so cold
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh,
But no,
oh,
I
when you
get
watch it.
really inspired by filmmakers who, people like Sam Raimi, Robert Rodriguez, who rather than, you know, throwing a bunch of money at something to make something happen. They find cool, creative ways to do things, like to solve problems and everything. And so, yeah, that always stuck with me, that whole thing of draping black material over the windows to simulate nighttime. I thought that was incredibly clever. But yeah, it's kind of interesting this one because I mean, Ash is such an iconic horror character, I mean, the dude like went up with his own TV series
Still
and
need to watch the TV show.
oh, it's so good. And yeah, in this one, he's very sort of reactive to things that are happening. He's not a very take charge sort of a guy much, he is kind of a nerdy,
Yeah, he's
frightened
kind of like
character.
a normal person, just
Hmm.
like freaking out about stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas the second film is he's just
Oh, he
like, all
becomes
right,
Ash.
let's do this. But
Oh my God, the second one.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, and I thought I said it in my review, but I didn't, but I thought about it. But
Mhm.
this movie just shows that you don't need to have a budget if you've
Mm.
vision. Like
Yeah.
this, I mean, I know it looks like a lower budget film, but it doesn't look like a super low budget film.
Mm. Yeah.
And like it still looks so well made for
Yeah, for
whatever they made
sure.
it for.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, yeah, look, it has flaws, obviously. There are times when was it like when they throw what's her name down in the cellar and like she just sort of like looks really different then like is the makeup job is just
Yeah.
so completely different. It's like that doesn't look anything like it, but it's like ah fuck it, like you can't criticize the film for doing stuff like that because everything about it is just so cool, you just yeah, you can't pick on it in any sort of way. Um but yeah, so I mean, yeah, look, the first one, like I said, it's a classic. It is absolutely brilliant, but which one would you prefer the first one to the second one, don't you?
Yeah.
And why is that?
I don't know, I just like it more. The
Hmm.
first one kind of has the whole story happening of, people turn up at the cabin and then they find
Mm,
this thing and it unleashes stuff and then they're trying to survive and things are happening. Whereas the
mm,
second one is just more the Ash fighting them. Like
mm,
that's pretty much the whole thing. So
mm,
I don't know, I like I like the first one more. I guess I'd like it not just being so like the comedy is not amped up like the second
mm.
one. I don't know.
Yeah.
I vibe with it more.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair enough. I lean more towards the second one because I
I know most
love
people do.
yeah, I love the comedy element. I love things like, when Ash chops his possessed hand off. Can we just talk about that scene where his hand is fighting him in the kitchen and breaking plates over his head and stuff? And Bruce Campbell does an actual flip in the
Yeah.
air, like, and that was him. Like, that
Yeah.
was
Well, I
just a
mean, couldn't
rad
fake that.
move. Yeah. But when he cuts his hand off and puts it in the container or whatever and puts a pile of books on top, and the top book says, the top book is A Farewell to Arms. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. But um no, I love the weirdness of it. I love, the scene in the living room where everything starts becoming animated and,
Oh
he
yeah,
just
that's
kind
a
of
great scene. And
goes
I
crazy with
also
it.
was like half in the scene and half thinking That's just Bruce Campbell standing there on his own, going completely insane while he's being
Yeah.
filmed.
I know. But no, like I thought, the second one introducing a few more characters and that kind of thing. I thought a bit more sort of history with the book and who owned it and all that sort of stuff I thought was really cool. I liked Henrietta in the second one in the basement who was played by was it Robert Tapp? No, sorry, not Robert Tapp, Ted Raimi, Sam Raimi's brother was actually Henrietta. Um, like yeah, she was just like really freaking creepy, but yeah, and then I thought the ending of the second one as well was just mind-blowing at the time, especially because you know we didn't know that there was going to be a third one coming out, and so we were just sort of like, wow, that ending is absolutely insane and would have cost more than the rest of the film put together. Like, which yes, we will talk about the ending in the spoiler section, but yeah, and then of course it just led to this franchise that's still going and still cranking out amazing films and like I said, the TV series and everything, like yeah, Evil Dead is just such a massive thing.
Question
And
for you.
yes.
If you could not remake the films now,
Mm,
but like take an actor from now and send them
mm-hmm,
back in time,
mm,
play Ash, if
mm,
Bruce Campbell wasn't around,
mm-hmm.
who do you think would be a good Ash?
Funnily enough, the one person that just instantly sprang to mind is Jim Carrey. And I'm talking sort of
Okay, so we have to do a couple of jumps in our time travel.
not 90s Jim Carrey, probably more 2000s where he actually started doing serious roles because like that dude can act and obviously he can do the comedy thing. And so and he's got a very distinctive like facial structure and everything. So for some reason that person just like sprang to mind straight away, and I don't know if it's a good idea or
Interesting. I
not.
said take an actor from now and you went to the 90s.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? If I had to pick someone from now, oh my God, you've really put me on the spot, haven't you? I don't know. I mean, it's it's tough because Bruce Campbell made that character. It's like, I could never see anyone playing the role of Freddy Krueger. I know Jackie L. Haley tried it, but to me, that just didn't work because Robert Englund made that character his own, and I just kind of feel that way with Ash. Like I can't imagine anyone now playing it. So I'm afraid I'm gonna have to tap out of that question.
I
I
thought you were just like, I can't think of anyone else who could play him except Jim Carrey, who I just mentioned.
Yeah, well, but now, but when if you're talking about people now, though, yeah. See, if you'd asked me this question 20 years ago, I would have said Jim Carrey. So, yeah, but I mean, look, I love what they did with the remake reboot thing where Jane Levy sort of kind of played the Ash character in a way, but obviously did it differently enough. I mean, the character was different enough that. It was a whole new thing, but
Yeah, so you definitely couldn't remake it now. That's
oh
why I
no.
specifically structured the question like that. Like, we're not
Mm,
trying to do it now, but it's
yeah.
just imagining someone else
Yeah, no, I just
being
can't.
that character.
That Bruce Campbell is Ash and Ash is Bruce Campbell, yeah, what did you have anyone in mind
Yeah.
or no?
I just thought I'd
Um
ask you because you have the strong connection to these movies.
mm. Yeah, well, maybe my connection is just that strong that I just leave it alone, man. Don't you go anywhere near it. Yeah, but no, I look these are two films. Oh man, I could watch them again and again and again and again and again until the day I die. Like they are so completely rewatchable. They're just so much fun, so great. Like there's just not a dull moment in either of them, and I gave them both 5 stars on Letterboxd because that's what you do, you give it 5 stars. Except you didn't, but
I wasn't far off.
no, I mean, what you gave Evil Dead 2 4 stars. I'm guessing the first one was what, 4.5 maybe.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, yeah. Oh no, hang on. No, you gave both of them 4 stars. Ooh, there you go. So you say that you preferred the first one, but not according to Letterboxd. Oh, we've uncovered some
It must
controversy.
not have updated because I watched it
Ah,
previously. I updated from last time I watched it.
all right.
Now it's 4.5.
Okay, fair enough then.
Good thing you
Um,
looked, or I wouldn't have realized that it didn't save it.
yeah. Yeah, look, man, I don't know what else to say about them. I mean, yeah. I,
It has some really good effects too. Like one
mm,
of the like grossest ones I found, like for wincing at what was happening, was when one of them's clawing at Ash's leg.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
That
that was
was
very over the top.
that's like
There's
a look away moment
right, right.
because it's just imagining it. It's just like
Yeah.
shredding his skin.
Oh my God, absolutely. Well, that's the yeah, the practical effects were incredible because obviously this is way back before CG was a thing. And I love the over the top amount of blood the second one used. Like that was just
Yeah.
reservoirs. It wasn't buckets of blood, it was
Do you know what
reservoirs of
was
blood.
really funny is some of the scenes didn't line up properly because of that.
Hmm.
There's a scene with the I won't go into spoilers, but basically the main girl in the second one, the
Hmm.
daughter of the people,
Hmm.
I don't remember anyone's name.
Yeah.
She was crouching down by the trap door, and there's a moment where all this blood is coming out at her
Mm.
and she's being coated. It's everywhere. It's like spraying. And
Mm.
then the next scene, she gets up and she has a tiny bit of blood on her shoulder. There's nothing on the rest of the shirt. There's nothing on her shorts, even though she was crouching right there. And
Mm.
it was pretty funny. It was like such an obvious
Oh, look,
difference.
the continuity is all over the place in
Yeah, it's
both
like people get
films.
sprayed blood all over their face, and then in the next scene, oh, that happened in the first one.
Yeah.
Something happens with Ash, and he gets blood all over, and then
Mm.
in the next scene, his face is clean,
Yeah, I
a little
know.
bit on the edges.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Like, these films have so many continuity errors and stuff, but
But there's not a lot though that stand out to me. Like
yeah.
the blood thing, especially the second film,
Mm.
because there was blood spraying everywhere. So then
Mm.
that was super obvious in the next one where she just had a couple of stains.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
otherwise, I didn't really, but I'm not the most observant to pick holes and things like that.
Yeah, yeah. But no, that's what I was going to say though. Like for all the flaws that these films had, for all the continuity errors, for everything, like it's just so hard to, pick on these films, like because they are just oozing with coolness. They are just, and the filmmakers went into it with so much heart and soul. And I mean, it's like films. I can't believe I'm comparing Evil Dead to Deadly Prey, but a film like that that's just like so riddled with mistakes and everything, but they just had such good intentions. And yeah, but I mean these films are legions above things, something like Deadly Prey, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now the all the use of practical effects, all the
So,
everything, it's just yeah, they're just so brilliant. And just seeing the character of Ash become, you know, the Ash that we know,
so
by
the
the second
budget
film.
was 350,000.
Oh, okay, right, right. Mm. Which, yeah, I don't know what that is by today's standards, but yeah, it's still
Um, and
I,
Evil Dead 2 was 3.5 million.
okay, right. Yeah, well, that was the thing. The first one was so big, like so
Mm.
popular and everything that, the studio just gave them like a ton of money and said, make a sequel. And yeah, you'd think with that money that they could have had a few more extras or people in the opening scene, but anyway, there you
But
go.
it still seemed like money well spent. Like they had
Mm.
some cool things, and the voices too was another funny thing. Like the voice of the hand is just
Mm.
sort of like a kind of grumbling and then a sort of laughing and whatever. And the
Yeah.
in the first film, the laughing,
Hmm.
I forgot about the cackling
Hmm.
constantly, which is kind of annoying, but also kind of
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree. Like, yeah, when she gets possessed, it is like, yeah, she is incredibly annoying, but it sort of makes you feel better about, when Ash starts beating the shit out of her and stuff. It's like, yeah, you
Well,
had
yeah,
it
I
coming.
mean, if you're going to be possessed by a demon, it's not
Mm.
surprising that they're going to do something annoying.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, look, honestly, yeah, if you became possessed and extremely annoying, I wouldn't hesitate to beat the shit out of you. But sorry, I'm channeling my inner Diddy.
Well,
Um,
I mean, yeah, normal society rules don't apply if people are possessed by demons.
exactly, yeah. Oh God, we could turn this into a fun game for the next podcast episode. I don't know exactly what, but anyway. But yeah, look, oh man, I don't know. We could probably go on talking about these films for like 2 hours, but we should probably move on unless there was anything else you wanted to add about Evil Dead.
No, I think that's
Mm.
that's we've probably
Fair
covered
enough.
everything.
All right. Which film would you like to talk about next? Being that I chose Phantasm and you
Um,
chose Bloodsucking Freaks.
yes. Let's get the worst one done first.
So Phantasm?
No.
Hmm? Oh, sorry. I thought you said the worst.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that got a 1-star rating, and even that may be a bit generous.
Oh, this is gonna be fun, Ralphus.
I
Um,
okay, I'll let you do the intro and then I have an opening comment.
Cool. So, Bloodsucking Freaks is a film from 1976. It was originally made under several different titles, including Sardu, the Master of the Screaming Virgins, Sardu and the Theater of the Macabre. Then eventually it became Bloodsucking Freaks. This film was released, and then the company Troma, who were famous for films such as The Toxic Avenger and whole bunch of really schlocky Z grade horror films. They picked it up. So it's technically not actually a Troma film. It wasn't actually made by Troma, but it's largely known as a Troma film. Um, so it is about a man named Sardu who runs a theater of the macabre along with his assistant, the vertically challenged Ralphus, because we can't say midget. Um, he's a midget. Anyway, and so yeah, they're kind of involved in like a human trafficking thing where they're getting these women to like put on stage and actually kill them and torture them in front of an audience. And so Sardu becomes fixated on getting this prima ballerina Natalie de Natali, no, Natasha de Natali, that's right, involved in his show. So yeah, they wind up kidnapping her. Her quarterback boyfriend teams up with a detective to find out what happened. In the meantime, you've also got a theater critic who is just, flat out refusing to review the show. But, so yeah. Oh my God, the plot is huge. It's
Wow, you're
huge, I tells you.
spending a lot of time describing that.
Oh, it's because I love this film so goddamn
I
much.
because you gave this film to me, I didn't look at it, so
Hmm.
I expected a vampire film
Oh, whoopsie days.
because I don't know why they called it that.
Ah, well, you got the doctor and the straw. Like, there's that.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, see, there you go.
I am shocked that you say this is a comfort movie
Oh, it is.
because I don't know why you wanted me to watch this because it's, yeah, a movie about two guys torturing and killing naked women.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But
I'm
they're
guessing
funny
this
guys.
is this like a teenage boy film where they're just like, oh my God, there's so much nudity in this
No,
film.
not at all. I love this film because to me this is a weird film. Like, it is bizarre. Actually, bizarre is probably a better word. I love the way that it's shot. It's just shot like in such a low budget, cheesy way. There are all these things that happen throughout the film that just don't have any relevance to the story whatsoever. Just these sort of random moments that, and Ralphus. I just love Ralphus, played by Louis de Jesus, who he's just every time this dude is on screen, like his line delivery is so bad. I mean, it is a terrible film. It's a really badly made film, but there's just something mesmerizing about this guy. Like when he's, at the cage full of naked women and throwing scraps of meat to them to eat, and then he just sort of starts dancing around and with his little hands in the air and stuff. Or the a moment later on when he's told that he can't do, what is it, a Spanish Inquisition joke or something? Well, I don't know, on stage, and like he does this kind of little tantrum thing where he like scruffs his hair up or whatever. It's like I love that sort of shit. Yeah, I have such a love for this film. I cannot tell you
I
how many times I've seen it.
I am questioning you now, the way you're talking about this movie,
Hmm.
that it's completely boring.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's that overall plot of he's going to get the ballerina to put on a show
Mm.
to get more people to come or whatever, because it seems like a proper performance then. But
Hmm.
the whole movie is just like, oh yeah, let's just pause and get some close-ups of all the naked women in
Mm.
between, or let's just have them all frolic around while they're, you know, going insane or whatever they were
Mm.
doing. One's locked up. And yeah, that's the whole movie. So I guess if you're into watching naked women be tortured, then that's what this movie is.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm into it because, like, realistically, this is the
Well,
only film that I can think of that I've seen where that happens.
but
Um,
yeah, I don't
it
understand
is, but that was a big thing with
loving this
70s
film. So, what?
70s exploitation films. I mean, that's what they were about, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I have seen some that, yeah, do have more extreme versions of nudity than
Mm.
normal movies, but they still have a story
Mm.
and they still have stuff going on that's not
Mm.
just, I mean, I guess this is like a Terrifier 3 thing where I'm not saying this movie's on the same level as Terrifier 3,
Mm.
but the majority of the movie is just watching someone do terrible things to people.
Mm. Yeah, but see, for me, like I said, this movie, for me, the appeal is the bizarre nature of it. It is the line deliveries, it is the performances, it's the music. I love the music in this film. That, real sort of 70s organ music. I love that. I just love every single thing about this film, and it's not because of the nudity and stuff. Like
Yeah, but
that's the
that's like
last thing that
half.
I
You just said you love every single thing about the film. There,
and that's the last thing.
I don't think I have seen so much nudity in one film,
Right, right.
I will say.
Mm.
And I have seen movies that have done focused close-ups on
Mm.
people, but also no naked men. The men are quite clothed all the time, of
What about the
course.
very final shot is of a dick?
Yeah, but it's not a naked man. It's like detached.
The end. I love that. See, that's what I mean. Oh God, there's just
No,
so many things I love about this movie.
I will never understand
That's fair enough. That's fair enough.
this.
Look, I totally understand that this movie's not for
I
everybody.
cannot
I
believe you got me to watch this, that you just
Hey,
thought this
it
would be a good
was
film for me to watch.
you had it as want to watch on Letterboxd.
Yeah, but this
So
probably because something you've said, because no one else I know has watched it. And I
JM has
probably thought it
many
was a
times.
vampire movie.
JM is just as obsessed with this film as I
Well,
am.
I'm questioning him as well.
And we have this in joke where, because the new singer of Alice in Chains, William Duvall, he looks like a tall version of Ralphus. And so once we saw Alice in Chains, and when William Duvall comes out on stage, we're just like, it's Ralphus. And we've referred to him as Ralphus ever since then. Um,
Well,
but
that fact is probably, well, is more entertaining than the entire film.
but look, I
Because
do want to
it
say,
took me so long to watch this because I just couldn't
oh
sit there and watch
wow.
it in one go because it's
Yeah.
boring and it's just a bunch of people being tortured.
Well, fair enough. I do want to say though, like for people who are into this film, so I owned the collector's edition DVD, which was amazing because you've got a commentary by Eli Roth on there, which was really, really cool because this was one of the films that inspired him to become a horror filmmaker. Like it's one of his most favorite films of all time. Even though, yeah,
Judging him as well.
nothing to do with the making of the film, but they got him along. It was a great commentary and it had a whole bunch of great special features. But I wanted to upgrade it to Blu-ray, and so I bought the Blu-ray. Had a look. It had nothing listed on the back. I was like, hope it has some special features. Anyway, I chucked it on. God, I was so happy. Not only does it have the original Eli Roth commentary, they brought him back again to interview some of the cast. There was just an interview with Eli. There's an interview with Chris Jericho, who is a massive horror fan, it turns out, which is probably why he was in Terrifier 2 and 3. And really cool interviews and stuff. And like the picture transfer was just gorgeous. It was scanned from the original 35 mil negative or print. So yeah, the picture quality is absolutely outstanding. So yeah, for fans of the film, definitely look into getting the Blu-ray. What you may not know is that there were two tragedies involved with the cast. So Seamus O'Brien, who played Sardu, he was actually murdered not long after this film was made, because there's conflicting reports, but I get the impression that it was like a hitchhiker or something that he picked up and he got mugged and killed in his own apartment. So yeah, he was actually brutally murdered. And then Viju Krem, who played Natasha De Natalie, she was shot by her husband while they were out hunting. So yeah, those two are no longer amongst the living. So there you go. And another fun fact, Louis de Jesus, who plays Ralphus, he was also one of the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi. So this movie has a Star Wars connection. So yeah, there you go. Now you like it so much more.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So why did you give it 1 star instead of a half star?
I don't know, actually. Maybe I just felt a bit mean because you like it so much.
Oh,
But
I don't
yeah,
care. Fucking give
now
it
that I,
0 stars.
well, you can't give 0 stars.
Yeah, true. Well, you can just take the rating off completely. It's unrated.
Yeah, but then that doesn't tell
Yeah,
anything
fair enough.
about what I think about it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, look, it
Yeah.
it is a divisive film. There's no doubt about that. It is not going to be for everybody. But yeah, if you like how I've described it as a really bizarre, weird film that has just some of the most random shit you'll ever see, maybe check
Or
it
if
out.
you're
If
into seeing naked women getting tortured and killed.
Yeah, yeah. Or if you're along the lines of Frankie and you think, my God, that sounds boring as hell, then absolutely steer clear of it
There's a
because,
lot of reviews of people saying for this type of movie, how can it be so boring?
oh,
But
okay, right,
yeah,
right.
it's not
Yeah,
just
see
me.
that I don't know. I just don't find any of it boring. I yeah. Actually, so hang on, what's that? Well, most people have given it, what's that, five, 4.5, 4, 3.5, 3. Most people have given it a 3. So, I mean, at least there's that. Um, yeah. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That is all up to individual opinion. So, and there's your
Yeah.
half star Excellent.
I don't know.
Um,
I feel like one is my I didn't like it, but yeah, I probably need to do that half just to yeah, because I can't think of anything good about it.
okay, here's a question. Would you rather rewatch this or Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
Kung Pao.
Wow, we've actually cracked it. We've actually got a movie that this is the worst movie you've seen in
Yeah,
the history of our podcast, yeah?
yeah, because Kung Pao
Yes.
I just wasn't into. It was a bit too silly comedy
Yeah.
for me,
Hmm.
but it wasn't completely boring
Hmm.
and it's not a bunch of naked women being tortured and killed.
Fair enough. All right. Well, there you go. You've heard two different opinions from this. I'm kind of glad that you hated it so much, like because this is more
Yeah,
interesting
you're
than
happy
just.
that you just ruined my Saturday afternoon because I had to get through this movie.
Well,
But
no.
I thought was gonna be, I thought it was just gonna be like some B vampire movie. I didn't realize this was like a video nasty,
Oh yeah, this movie was banned
just,
so many places
well,
around the
yeah, I
world, and
mean,
yeah,
yeah, so much nudity, so much torture. Like
yeah.
that's like what, 90% of the film or
Yeah, I've
something.
actually owned this movie on three different formats because I just
Oh,
remembered I used to have the VHS tape, like the actual store-bought VHS tape of it. That's what I used to watch it on the most. Like, oh my God, I watched this movie so many times. And then I bought it on DVD, and now I've bought it on Blu-ray. So yeah,
yeah,
it,
I can't.
it's up there with my most favorite movies ever. So. And I'm not even sorry. There's nothing you can do or say that is going to make me
Um,
change my mind about that film.
I don't expect you to change your mind. It's just blowing my mind
Hmm.
that a
So
movie
that
like
film blew your mind.
this.
Okay, there we go.
No,
You heard it here
you are
first.
blowing my mind that this is one of your favorite films.
I've had JM is actually keen to come around just to have a look at the Blu-ray at some point. Like he wants to organize a special screening of it. That's how much we are into this film.
I will not be at that screening.
No, well, all right, I'll throw your invitation away then. All right. Speaking of 70s movies, actually, yeah, like we were doing a lot of 70s, well, movies that were made in the 70s at the moment.
Yeah.
On to Phantasm. Tell us about that.
Ah, well, this is fun. This is one of those that I just found a DVD cheap on Amazon of all five movies. And so just because I knew that people talked about this franchise, I just
Hmm.
decided to get it and give it a go. And I love it because it's so weird. And Angus Scrim as the tall man
Mm.
is like one of the coolest characters. He's so great. But yeah, so this is about a teenage boy and his older brother, and they're at a funeral for a friend, and there's just a creepy guy being weird at the funeral home,
Mm.
and then who is the tall man, and yeah, weird things happen. I don't know. This
Yeah.
is a hard movie to describe. It's
Isn't
very
it?
weird.
Mm.
Doesn't make sense.
Mm.
But it's just, I don't know. I just find something really charming and fun about it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Frankie, this is the first movie I can think of that I simultaneously loved it and hated it at the same time while I was watching it. It, it by the time I got to like I'm going through this journey and I'm like, what is going on? Like this movie's kind of shit and I'm not liking it, but I want to watch it again and again, and I want to buy it on Blu-ray, and I want to watch the other ones. And I love this movie, and I'm sitting there. But hang on, didn't I just think that I hate it? No, I love this movie. Like this movie split me in two. Like, and I can't think of another movie that ever made me feel that way. Um, yeah, and then I did some research on it, and so yeah, apparently it was intentionally made to be completely weird and stuff. So, um, yeah, like even just thinking about it now, I'm like, I'm thinking about all these different scenes that happen, but it doesn't feel like it all belongs to one, cohesive movie. Like it's,
Especially at the end, like
yeah.
it just does a really big swing at the end
Oh, I
that you're
can't
just
wait to
like,
talk
what?
about that in the
Yeah.
spoilers. Yeah.
But the fun thing about, I'll just say overall for this franchise,
Mm,
well, first fun thing is after watching these movies, whenever anyone says boy,
mm,
it's now the tall man saying it in
mm.
my mind. I actually was starting to wonder if he said it in the first film because it took so
Right.
long before he did say it.
Hmm.
But the fun thing about the franchise is in the sequel, which I don't remember, but I liked it better than the first one. So
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to revisiting it.
Hmm.
Um, they have a different actor playing the kid,
Okay.
but the Reggie is back.
Hmm.
And then in the rest of the films, they get the original actor back.
Mm.
Reggie's there, and the older brother, the same actor, the
Hmm.
older brother also
Okay,
comes
right.
because yeah, so it's pretty fun and it's
Mm.
over quite a number of years.
Mm.
I can't remember when the fifth one came out.
But it,
So the
yeah.
2016. So
Oh, wow, that recently.
um, yeah, so
Huh.
from 79 to 2016, the
Wow.
franchise covers. So it's pretty cool that
Okay.
they had the same actors and Angus Scrimm, of
Mm.
course, as well.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to revisiting them. I do have the Blu-ray box set that Arrow released in my wish list with them. I
Mm.
should have got that when everything was £9.
Yeah.
So I would like
Um,
to upgrade one day, but yeah,
yeah.
I know a lot of people lower rank the later films, but
Mhm.
I don't remember each film separately, but I
Mm.
gave pretty good ratings to all of them, so I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
dislike any of the films.
But no,
But yeah,
like it
it's
sort
fun.
of, oh my God, it sort of had sci-fi elements in a way as well. Like that whole silver ball thing was
Yeah.
just like, what the fuck, Like it was so weird and just seemed really out of place in this film and stuff. But I did find like I actually thought it had some pretty genuinely creepy moments as well. Like I mean aside from the tall man, his minions, like it sort of they reminded me of the Jawas from Star Wars, but without the glowing eyes. But yeah, they were creepy as fuck in some moments.
That's what
Um,
they are. I saw a bunch of people mention that in reviews, and I
right,
didn't
right.
know what they were referring to. So,
Ah, okay. Yeah, but look, overall, yeah, my God, I definitely want to watch it again at some point. But even though I hated it, but I loved it. But yeah,
one of the standout
wow.
scenes that was one of the main things I remembered is when the kid is in town. What's his
Mm.
name? I should, Mike.
Um,
When Mike's
yeah.
in town and the tall man's just like walking down the street past
Yeah.
Reggie at his truck. And I'm
Mm.
just like, just the way he's walking and
Mm.
everything. I'm just like, oh, such a perfect horror villain.
But like the moment where like we're introduced to Reggie's character and he like, comes over and sits on the porch with Jody and they've got guitars and they just start doing this song and stuff and then it goes to something else and it's like, what just happened? Like, why did I just watch two dudes singing a song playing guitars? Like, huh? And then of course, you're like, oh, okay, so that's Reggie, like, but what a way to introduce the character, It's like it was so weird. Um, but so cool. Like this is what I mean. Like this is the sort of stuff that, will get me back to watch it again because in a way, much like Bloodsucking Freaks, it's just sort of like so many random weird things happened and I liked it. So yeah. Th this is but unlike Bloodsucking Freaks, I actually really enjoyed this film. So and definitely want to revisit it.
Are you
Um
going to continue the franchise?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, no, I'd definitely like to see. So, what are the rest of them kind of as weird as the first one, or
I don't remember exactly.
mm,
I think so. I don't know if they'd be as weird, but
mm,
it's definitely, I think they stay kind of the same, but
hmm.
I've only seen them once. I don't really remember. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's why I want to watch
Oh,
them again.
just looking up the director's other works, and I did not realize that he directed Bubba Hotep from 2002, which starred Bruce Campbell as Elvis Presley, and was a very strange kind of film. I don't actually know if I liked it or not. And the
That's a theme, I guess, with Don Cascarelli then.
Yeah. And he also did that movie John Dies at the End, which I've been curious about just based on
I
the
actually have that on my shelf. It was one I just
right.
picked up at a sale or something somewhere
Yeah.
randomly, but
I
I
would
still
watch it just
haven't
based on
watched it
that
yet.
title
So
because Angus Scrimm
yeah.
is in that movie as well.
Ah, okay. I need to
Ah.
bump that up the priority list. I never really put it together that it was the same director.
Yeah, yeah. So there you go. But so he didn't do all of the other Phantasm films. He only did the first one. Oh no, hang on, the second one, third one, and fourth one. So he didn't do the fifth one then. Um, yeah. So all right. But yeah, no, I would definitely be up for watching more of them. Because yeah, no, it was my kind of weird. So actually, you rated the second one higher than the first one on Letterboxd.
Yeah, I just told you that before that
Yes,
I
yes, you
liked the
did.
second one more than the first one.
And yes, as
But
soon as I
I
said that, I was like, oh yeah, because you
haven't.
just mentioned that. So yeah, there you go. No, I am paying attention, I promise. Yeah, no, thank you very much for introducing me to that film because yeah, that and like I when I did some research on it afterwards, yeah, like I discovered that that film was, widely acclaimed by so many people. It was just one of the greatest horror movies ever made and stuff. So, and that's not an exaggeration. Like a lot of people actually do say that. So, yeah. No, there you go. Couple of weird films we showed each other.
Yes, very different films.
Yes, very different kinds of weird.
Yes.
All right. Well, in that case, I reckon it's time to go start talking spoilers. So, for everyone who does not want to hear spoilers about Evil Dead 1 and 2, Bloodsucking Freaks, and Phantasm, this is where we are going to part and go our separate ways.
Yes.
So yeah.
After we
Oh, of
say
course,
what our
after we
next films will be.
Oh shit, yeah, that's right. See, there you go. Look, I'm sorry. Yeah, like I said before, we're just winging this one today. So, yes, for next time around, our feature film is going to be a film. Well, this time around, it is a vampire movie. And yeah, it is a film that is absolutely beloved by both Frankie and myself, and that is Interview with the Vampire,
And
which,
I forgot to say earlier,
mm,
but I did think while I was watching Bloodsucking Freaks that Interview with the Vampire is how you put on a show that the audience thinks isn't real, but actually is.
right. Oh, yeah, 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 that's right.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, but it didn't have Ralphus in it.
But it had Antonio Banderas with long, beautiful hair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it didn't have a midget with an afro and a goatee, so there you go.
Well, I know which I would prefer.
Well, I know which I would prefer as well.
Alon's
So,
one of my all-time, he's my favorite in the Vampire Chronicles.
oh, okay.
So, and
Um,
Antonio Banderas is like such a good Armand that I forgave that he's so different from the actual book character.
right. Well, having never read the book, which I'm surprised. Yeah, I just think Interview with the Vampires is one of the greatest 90s films ever made, but we will talk about it on the next one. And in the meantime, yeah, so we've got three movies
Uh,
to
this
choose from
is,
for each other.
yeah, I
Do you want
hate
me to
doing
go
this.
first?
Or do you want me to go first? Because
Yeah,
mine are
you go
terrible.
first. Yeah, you go first.
I hate this and I couldn't find good reviews, so I just found terrible ones instead.
Brilliant. Hey, I
Where's
love
my
Bloodsucking Freak, so I'm
computers?
probably going to really appreciate
Well,
that.
see, the thing is, oh dear, I hope my computer's not going to do weird things
I do too,
because
because
I'm
yeah.
just trying to open these screenshots I took earlier.
Ah,
Okay.
that'll.
Basically, since you made me watch such a terrible movie, I generally
It's a matter of opinion.
filter movies to what I think you will like.
Hmm.
But now I've decided that that doesn't matter.
That is out the window.
Now I have to hope I remember. Okay, I remember what movie that is.
Hmm.
Okay, I remember what my movies are.
Okay,
Okay, the
cool.
first one doesn't have much to do with the movie, but I couldn't
Okay,
find a good review, and this person just wrote a story that made me laugh. So
bring it on.
we get a story instead.
Hmm.
Um, so this movie has a song in it. So they said the song is generally genuinely so stressful for me because I used to have these dolls of two characters that would sing it if you pressed their buttons at the same time. It would be like a duet. But for some reason, the battery in the guy doll went on the fritz, and one day I accidentally bumped it, and the song started playing, but his voice was literally an exact match for the demon from The Exorcist. But if that demon was drowning and simultaneously trying to hit a perpetual high note that just wasn't in the human vocal range, and it
Wow.
never went back to normal, so we had to throw the demon doll away because it scared me and my sister so bad. Anyway, great movie, still slaps.
I don't know how we're going to top that one, but let's give it a go.
Okay, next movie. Oh, what the hell just what? I just clicked on it and it
Hmm.
suddenly turned into the review I just read.
Oh,
That's
wow.
some crazy demon stuff going on there.
Right. Yeah.
Um, Let me
I
try
mean, I could just
again.
make it easy on you and just pick that one, but we'll go with some choices.
Okay, feels like the end of the world, and the anxious, low stakes, bad dreams I often get all in one. The dreams where everyone is furious with me for some unknown reason and there's nothing I can do. Feels like putting up the chairs at the end of the night, turning off the lights, and walking home through the dark and the cold. One of the best opening scenes I've ever seen.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And don't ask me why, but I just always randomly think of this movie. I saw some of it with my sister when I was young, and we thought the whippet hat thing was weird and funny. So I think that's why it's in there. Anyway, the movie is really cute, and I love families that come together films.
Hmm.
And I
All
can't
right.
say the last line because it's a spoiler. So,
Fair enough. That's all right. We're going with the first one. That story just touched my heart. I loved it. And
um,
yeah.
Liam, oh my God, it's done it again. Liam,
Oh,
if you are listening,
yeah.
If I don't know if you, I didn't say this, the song is Breaking Free. The dolls are Troy and Gabriella. You will be watching High School Musical.
You mother. What? Why? Why did you do this to me? Why?
Because
What?
it's a
But
really fun film. You might be like me. I thought it would be stupid, and then because of Liam and his Zac Efron thing, I decided to watch it, and I watched all three in a weekend, and I really enjoyed them.
you really hated Bloodsucking Freaks, didn't you? To make me do this. Oh, wow. Okay, fair enough. Well, Kylie's going to be happy because I know she's a fan of these films. So, um,
They are pretty great.
God damn it. Okay, fine. I'm gonna watch High School Musical. All right. Um, I have. Oh, see, I've got all good movies for you. God damn it. All right,
Hey, I need a
fine.
good movie after last time.
Bloodsucking Freaks 2. No, just kidding. All right, first review. Just absolutely stunning and terrifying altogether. I first watched this in elementary school on TV on Halloween night, and I couldn't get through it. I was so scared. Watching it again as an adult, still scared and terrified, but was able to see it through to the end. Should I say the actor? Actually, I will. Vincent Price was and always will be the king of horror, and this movie proves that. Second one. This was a great movie. There's so many war movies that have been made, but this was suspenseful and tense in an entirely new way. There were very few actors, but the small number of characters brought more focus to the tense storyline. The main actor gave an incredible performance, very realistic. It's a testament to his talent that he carried the movie almost on his own. The storyline did keep you on the edge of your seat, entirely enraptured and in utter suspense. And then the third one, this should be required watching for everyone on the dangers of letting stupidity rule unchecked.
Well, I find it interesting you keep recommending war movies to me.
Yeah,
But
this is a very different kind of.
yes, I heard the review.
Yeah.
And I'm going to pick that one because
Oh,
I like the small cast full of suspense thing of
man.
it.
I am so happy right now because this is a movie. Yeah, I went to the cinemas to see it and oh, it rocked my freaking world. It is The Wall from 2017 with Aaron Taylor Johnson and John Cena. And that's it. That's the cast. Um,
I've never heard of this.
it's essentially about a
Oh, Doug
sniper.
Lyman.
Yeah. A sniper and his spotter or whatever, in Iraq or somewhere, I think it's,
Yes.
and they get trapped behind the remains of a wall out in the middle of nowhere, and there's a sniper on them, and Yeah. I believe one of them is in communication with the Iraqi sniper and stuff. And yeah, oh my God, what they did for a movie that, has a cast of two people in it essentially, and one
This
tiny
has
little location. Like it's amazing. What's that, sorry?
this has very mixed reviews, so
Oh, does
I'm
it?
very curious. Yeah.
Oh,
Has
okay.
on Letterboxd, it has an average overall of 3, but
Mm.
yeah, there's a whole range. So
Yeah, yeah, right.
yeah.
Yeah, no, oh my God, I love this movie so much. And yeah, it's been a very long time since I've seen it, so I'm really looking forward to checking it out again. Um, yeah. Oh, okay, so there is a
Yeah.
third cast
We
member, but that's just the
yeah.
voice that you hear on the other end of the thing. So,
We have a
yeah,
very mixed bag of
we
films.
do.
After
Holy
it
sh
being like in some ways similar this
Yeah.
time with like run times and when they were made and everything. We're
Hmm.
going very different next time.
All right. So, anyway, as I was saying, for those who don't want to hear any spoilers, yes, we're going to part ways. We're going to love you and leave you. So stick around next time for Interview with the Vampire, fucking High School Musical, and The Wall, which
I will warn
sounds.
you with High School Musical, when I first watched it, I the first song that kind of opens it is
Mm,
terrible and I was like, "Oh my God, what am I watching?"
mm.
But the next song is one of the best of the whole franchise. So there
Oh,
we go.
I can't wait to hear it. All right. So yes, for everyone who's about to leave us, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully we'll have Nobbin's knowledge next time as well, if he can get his fucking act together. I mean, yes, if he's available. And yeah, we will catch you then. Stay safe, watch lots of movies. Bye for now. For everyone else who wants to talk spoilers, let's go. All right. So yes, Evil Dead, like I love the end of the first one where Ash seemingly gets possessed. Like, because yeah, like it seems like all evil is vanquished and he steps outside and into the daylight, and then all of a sudden the unseen force is like crashes its way through the house and everything, and then boom, like big close up end credits, and it's like wow, that was an interesting way to end the movie. Like, I mean, I guess they did that thing, of like a sort of a, ending where the bad guy wins. Um, but then, yeah, that's what
Well,
I was.
yeah, this
Mm,
horror movie thing is very rare for
mm,
something to be finalized and
yeah, yeah.
fully vanquished or killed or whatever at the end of the movie.
Mm. But that's what I was
But
saying with
it's
the
the
next one,
ending that
then.
you
Mm,
can continue on or you can leave. So it works either
yeah.
way.
So yeah, that's what someone was saying, that if you then just cut it to the next film where that same thing happens, like, but I love when Ash gets possessed in that second one, like the makeup job on his face just looked
Mm.
incredible, didn't it? But then the ending of the second one, of course, is just, I mean, at the time, like I said, this is before we knew that there was going to be a third one set in medieval times. And so, yeah, Ash gets sent back to, the medieval years, and is sort of hailed as like this hero that's going to save everyone from the evil stuff. And yeah, that whole thing, like you said, it was what, $3.5 million budget for the second one. I reckon a couple of million of that must have gone to like all of those suits of armor and horses, and because it was grand. It was like it was really big. um and yeah, no, I really
And
dug
Army
the
of
ending.
Darkness is 11 million.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because that was a huge film, that one. But yeah, no, I thought the ending of the second one was great, and like I kind of liked the humor of it when we didn't know that there was going to be a third one. That was like poor Ash, he's just gotten stuck back in ye olde times. So yeah, very cool endings of those films. So yeah. I don't really know if there's any other spoilers to talk
I did notice that the tree scene in the first film is
Right.
quite divisive online,
Mm,
which surprised me because I didn't think it was that out of the ordinary from things that you see
mm,
in horror movies
mm.
that happen to people. But
Right.
I always found that as one of the more memorable scenes from it's like one of the th main things I remembered after the first time I watched it.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
I think it's a pretty good horrifying scene.
Oh, it's
Don't
brutal,
have
isn't it?
I don't have issues with it being
Mm,
there, but that seems to be I was looking at some bad reviews because after I watched that first 10 minutes or so, and I was just like,
mm,
how could anyone hate this film? So then I
mm,
went to read the bad reviews to see why people hated it, which is why I
mm,
saw people saying stuff about the camera work and how he hadn't
mm.
kind of found himself yet making this or whatever.
Right, right.
But yeah, there are lots of people that didn't like it, had
Mm.
issues with the tree scene, but
Well, I reckon if they just named it the Diddy Forest, then it would explain why it had its way with her and stuff. Because
or
yeah,
because it's demons, so they're gonna do terrible shit.
exactly. Yes, just like Diddy. Sorry, I'm still going on about him. But anyway, yeah. What else? Okay. Um, have you got any spoilers for Bloodsucking Freaks?
I've already said what's in it, so
Yeah, I already said was. I mean, I just love that ending where, yeah. So the caged women are set free as Sardu's been tied up because the was it the detective? Yeah, the detective and the quarterback like they come to rescue Natasha and which doesn't work out and when the because there's a hidden trapdoor with a thing full of money in the cage. And anyway, the women all get free. Sardu's tied up, and Ralphus, I think, was as well. And so it's sort of implied that the women have cannibalized them. But yeah, the very final shot is like a hot dog with a penis in it, and it sort of gets held up towards the camera, and then it comes up with the end over it, which was a really funny joke. Um, yeah, I look for your sake, I'm not going to go into too many spoilers about this film, even though I probably could, but you're probably really sick of talking about blood-sucking freaks by now. So, yeah.
go ahead if you want.
No, 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 it's cool. Um, Phantasm. It did that thing that we were talking about with Scream before, where it was like, oh, it was all a dream, or was it? Like, which I thought was so, I mean, yeah, so they
Because if stuff didn't happen, like what's the point where the stuff wasn't happening?
exactly. Like so they send the tall man down the mine shaft and everything, and then everything seems normal. But then Reggie is saying to Mike that his brother died a different way and everything and stuff. And it was like, hang on, what? Like, and then yeah, you sort of led to think like that it was all some weird fantasy or whatever. But then the tall man appears again and Mike gets like grabbed through with the hands through his mirror and stuff. And it's like, what are you guys doing to us? Actually, in a way, it was kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street because that had the whole, ending where it was like, oh, like everything's fine now and all their friends are back. Like, what's going on? And then, of course, the car drives off, the red and green stripe cover goes over, and then Nancy's mum gets pulled through the window. And yeah, so I didn't even think of that until now. But yeah, very interesting ending. But it suited the film though. This is what I mean. Like if it had been any other movie, I might have actually hated that ending, but it just felt appropriate.
Well, everything had been so weird up until that point. So it was extra weird. Like they cut
Mm,
to that scene and where they're
mm,
sitting in front of the fireplace. And yeah,
mm.
I can't remember how the second movie starts and the main thing of that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
I was going to watch it this weekend, but I just ran out of
Mm,
time with the other things that
yeah.
I wanted to watch. So I'll have to get to it and
Mm,
yeah, I'm really excited to continue on, especially since I did like all the films in the franchise because I
hmm
know the later films have a lot of like 1.5, 2-star ratings from people. But
Right, right.
I think I've given at least 3 for every film in the franchise. So
Okay. Yeah, cool.
yeah,
All
I had
right.
fun with them.
Excellent.
So I will let you know. I'll report back.
Sounds good. Stay tuned for the next episode. That's pretty much all the spoiler talk we got, I guess. So yeah. All right. Well, yes. That was short and sweet, but anyway,
Yeah, the movies that didn't have a huge amount of spoilers. So
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
that's good. Made it
Yeah.
easy.
There's just like cool endings, a penis hot dog, and a weird dream sequence. But anyway, um, yeah. So yes, as I said before, yeah, come back next time where we will have Interview with the Vampire, High School Musical, and The Wall, and it is going to be a guaranteed good time. And if you don't have a good time, let me know. I will send you Frankie's address, and you can harass her. I'll give you all her email address, and you can just hound her for your money back.
Or maybe you
Uh,
should give the podcast email address in case people want to
oh,
say hello or
you mean you mean was it just Dan and Frankie, or was it Dan and Frankie podcast? It's been a while. I can't remember. I think it
yeah.
was podcast. I think it was Dan and Frankie podcast at gmail.com or outlook.com. Um, I'm pretty sure that was it. Or you can find
But,
us on social media if you just type in Dan and Frankie Go to Hollywood. We'll pop up. We're on Facebook at Blue Sky, and we're trying to avoid Twitter because it sucks. Um, but yeah, are you looking up the email address? Because I'm just sort of stalling at the moment. I'm like, so we don't have like a minute of dead silence where people are like, hang on, are they still there? So
um,
I'm just saying things. So yeah, your shorter hair looks
I
nice.
am just
Uh,
trying to
and
work
I
out how I see what the email address is.
yeah, look, just
Oh, hang
send
on.
it to that, and if it comes back to you, then it's not that one. I love we're going to this much effort when no one's ever emailed us and
Well,
probably
but
won't.
someone might want to, but they don't know what our email address is.
Yeah, see, I'm using reverse psychology. I'm saying, oh, we've never had an email, we never will. And so people are gonna be like, ah, well, in that case, I'm gonna be the first one. And yeah. Look, I just think if anyone has actually made it this far through the podcast, like good on you. Send us an email. Like we'll send you something. No, we won't. Uh, I'll send you a clump of my cat's hair. Um, yeah, I'm really struggling to come up with things to say while you're doing that at the moment.
Well, I just emailed myself so I could see what the from address is,
All
but it's
right. Well, I'm going to send you a clump of my cat's hair because you're the first email. Actually, no, I've got an easier way of doing this. If I just go into my email thing on my phone, go here. Um, Inbox is, yes, Dan and Frankie podcast at outlook.com or Dan and Frankie podcast at gmail.com. That was so much quicker than what you've been doing of emailing yourself and stuff like that.
well, I didn't know you had something right there to look at because you didn't look at it.
To be honest, I didn't either until I just suddenly thought of that. So, yeah, cool. All right. Anyway, we're out of here. So,
I'm
yes.
losing light. Is how long we've been going.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So, yes, till next time, stay safe, watch lots of movies. Bye for now.